Welcome back to the Crash Space. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy New Year. It is 2026, January 4th. It's a Sunday morning. We're back here with some Marvel Champions content, streaming on a Sunday morning. Apologies, we don't have it locked in entirely, whether it's going to be Sunday mornings or Sunday evenings. I think we just have to kind of play it by ear. I would wish that we had something a bit more permanent, but it is the best we have for now. As a cheap way to farm notifies on YouTube, maybe if you want to hit subscribe, hit that bell button, you'll know when we go live, but this is the best we got right now, so just hang on for a moment. Hey, Snake, how's it going? Good morning, Crash. First Crash Space stream of 2026. Exciting. Happy New Year. Hopefully you're well. Your holidays were good. We were able to stream last Sunday, which was a great time. We played some Rocket Raccoon. That, mind you, of course, is up on the channel if you get to the page. This is something YouTube does an okay job, but if you get to the YouTube page, there is the video section, which is the top banner. Underneath that is a live. So there's always live gameplay in the background. We're better at doing live stuff than video stuff. So if you're looking for content, hopefully you find it where you need to. Jello, how's it going? Hey, happy 2026 as well. Trust you are well. Right now, just about the same time, I didn't realize this weekend there's a massive Netrunner tournament. It's the Winter Showdown that Man in the Moon is putting on. I totally blanked on it. I don't know, Joel, if you've been watching it or let alone playing in it. But it looks like we had like 160 players yesterday, and then they're doing the top 32 cut today, which is such a ridiculously big cut. Anyone who's doing that is probably not here, but hopefully they're having a good time. Speaking of having a good time, we got something for you. I was like this close to playing SPDR Protection because she was on my list of things we haven't done. I guess it's worth saying, I had a list of every single hero in Marvel Champions, and last year my goal was to play all of them against a campaign. And I got through more than 2/3. I got through, I don't know, it's like 50 out of 63, maybe 45 out of 63, something like that. I'm not going to give up on that list. I'm going to actually just finish it because it forces me to play champions that I haven't played a long time, a bunch of heroes I haven't played consistently. And I think that just makes me a better player, maybe a more interesting content creator, but just like, you know, making the pool wider, I think it's worth pursuing. So I will finish that off. And that's a reason why today we ended up on Spider-Woman, because Spider-Woman is one of the heroes that I played the least amount of games with. A big reason is that when Spider-Woman came out, it was in the Red Skull box, which is a great box, really hard to find right now. Apologies for that. But she came alongside Hawkeye, and Hawkeye is one of my favorite heroes in this game for some reason. He's not very good. But whenever I sat down and played Rise of Red Skull with my partner, specifically, we played cooperative. She would always play Spider-Woman. I would always play Hawkeye. So it was the sort of thing where I felt like I saw a lot of Spider-Woman games. So I kind of got the gist of it as if I played it vicariously, but I didn't have to play it myself. So now looking back, when I started preparing for this video or for the stream, excuse me, I had 6 Spider-Woman games. At this point, it's about 10, but that's really, really low for most heroes. The top cut 16, not 32, by the way. I wish I was 32nd. I came 21st. Oh, I heard. Firstly, Lucy, congratulations. I saw your standings. They looked really quite good. And I assumed you were playing today. I tuned in earlier on rounds when I was watching live, and I believe production said that it was a top 32. 16 makes a lot more sense, but congratulations. I reckon you played some op and did quite well. So hey, congrats. It's huge. As thematic, Kang would totally be wanted to ruin the beginning of the new year. I struggle sometimes to figure out what sort of hero, or sorry, what sort of villain we should be playing against. And Kang is another hero, villain, did it twice, that I don't have that much experience against. I think I only have like a handful of Kang games. So I want to play more Kang. I did some practice runs yesterday and it was all right. Mind you, this is not just going to be base Kang. We're going to knock it up a notch by playing some of the harder Kang encounter sets. But Kang seems totally okay. I actually, what I want to do is, if we get through Kang and successful, we'll play Spider-Woman versus Spider-Woman, which is something you're not legally allowed to do, but nobody tell FFG, please. I think we had Spider-Woman on the thumbnail like last stream, or maybe 2 streams ago or something like that. So I wanted to kind of diversify a bit. It's the sort of content issue, but we'll get there. Hey, Andy, how's it going? Happy New Year, Spider-Woman, one of my top heroes. Happy New Year, Audrey. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. I didn't wind up being there. Beans. Hey, Timothy, SPDR is fun and protection for a purpose. That's exactly the sort of deck, firstly, Happy New Year, that I do want to play. And that was the issue. Just like one Sunday ago, we played Rocket Raccoon Repurpose Protection. So like we probably have to do a bit wider than that. I've seen a bunch of I tried a bit of an SPDR aggression deck. I net decked. It went okay. There was a couple of them. I tried a couple, but I think protection is like really where I want to be for sure. There's some really nice protection cards that SPDR got recently as well. Highest placing Arasana, which is always my goal. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's that many Arasanas, but like just placing high with Arasana in general, like I'm saying, oh, hold on, that was backhanded. I'm saying highest play as Arasana is already a really good thing to do, considering there's not a lot of Arasanas. How's it going by the way, Proof Rock? I played Spider Woman yesterday against Enchantress. She's totally my top 5 heroes. So much fun. I prefer the red-green expert combatant build. Why does it have that name? What I want to do with Spider Woman is play as many cheap cards as possible. That is just like good fun. Spider Woman, mind you, her stats go up for every different aspect of card you play. And the big thing is in her alter ego. She says that when you start her deck building, you're allowed to pick 2 factions or 2 aspects. And you have to play an equal amount of cards from each aspect, but you become this like 2-color class, let alone your kit already has multicolored aspect hero cards, which is something only she does. Today we're playing Leadership Pool, pink and blue, great color scheme. Looks really, really quite nice. So that is what we're doing. I have tried a couple other ones. I think I've mostly seen when Maddie was playing, like, I'm pretty sure Aggression Justice, which covers the 2 big bases that you wanted to do. I know someone has posted it. I'm a big fan of playing the 0-cost deck, but I do think you can make a Jessica Drew deck where you only import 0-cost cards, which is good fun, because the more that you can fire her ability, obviously the bigger her stats go, and 0-cost cards are kind of the bottom of that barrel for sure. What does expert combatant mean? I'm going to go sandbag by playing an ID. I need to at least play her better than everyone else. Kang is IMO the best scenario in the game. Vasco, Happy New Year. That's wild praise. Why would you say that? For what reason is Kang the best scenario? I know there's like the branching middle point where the villains, they're not that different from my playstyle. There's one of them we definitely want to avoid. The Retaliate one is a problem because of the deck we're playing. But I don't know if I've ever like thought of Kang that highly. I'd really be interested to hear why you think that. Kang is a great scenario. I think I prefer him multiplayer, but he's always fun time, I think. The one time I played Kang was with my partner. We had such a great time. It was Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And it was just super, super memorable. We still talk about it today. And then since then, I was like not super excited to play Kang in solo, but then I did, and it was fine. It was fine. I played Ghost Spider Protection through Galaxy's Most Wanted, and it was super fun. Did you get through all of it? That's a hard one. That's a really hard one. I don't know what difficulty you're playing on, but getting through Galaxy's Most Wanted, it's already a really high bar. My Metamore wanted an aspect mixing deck to deepen deck building. Yeah, in terms of aspect mixing decks, I think there's only 2, Lucy, if I'm not forgetting one. One is Jessica Drew Spider-Woman, which is great. The other one is Golden Boy. What is Golden Boy's name? Someone will help me out. But Golden Boy, the most gold boy, has the ability to play full multi-faction. Excuse me, I slurred my words a bit. Adam Warlock, thank you. You know who it is. The other one that you can play is Adam Warlock. I guess we should show his alter ego, but he has a very similar shtick, where it says during deck building, you must play all 4 aspects, but you must play an even amount of all 4 aspects. I think Adam Warlock is intimidating to deck build. He's mystic traded, and that already opens up a lot. I think Spider-Woman feels a bit more open for some reason. A lot of times Adam Warlock decks turn out to be like generalist decks where you just play the best of, play the hits from every aspect. Sometimes those cards are not synergistic, they're just independently good, and there's some fun in that for sure. I do think Adam Warlock had this one deck, and this is before my time in Marvel Champions, where this idea shows up, I think, a bit more in Lord of the Rings LCG, where there was like this one deck in Lord of the Rings LCG that was so good, it was so toolboxy, it was so powerful but consistent that it could beat every single scenario on the hardest difficulty. I think at the time, Adam Warlock had that deck, where again, you had a toolbox, so you have the ability to search your discard pile mostly for any card, and then you played all these singletons, which you have to in Adam Warlock. You cannot play more than one of the same card. And yeah, there was like this hyper competitive deck. I don't know if that still holds up. I'm imagining there's some better stuff you can be doing right now, but Adam Warlock used to be like a weird talking point, and a lot of people didn't like to play Adam because he was kind of solved. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I made a protection and pool deck a couple months ago for my wife for a Wicked theme, and Scarlet Witch as a supporting deck. It was super fun. Good times. Oh, that sounds awesome. I recently played a whole campaign with Scarlet Witch. She was on my box, and I enjoyed her way more than I remember ever enjoying her. I think she's a lot of fun. Adam and Jessica are 2 of my favorite decks to build. I love multi-aspect heroes. That's why I'm excited for Wonder Man to be released. Oh yeah, Wonder Man's coming out. I forgot about that. Also, like, hey, I've said this very, very explicitly on the channel before, that one of my favorite subtypes of characters is brawlers, like characters who can just stand there, take damage, and then just heal up, which we've been playing a fair bit of that on stream or in video. And I've said there's not that many characters that can do that. I'm not a big Wolverine fan. X23 is amazing, a bit busted, but amazing. But I want to shout out one character that I totally forgot can do that. And I've been playing a fair bunch of her recently. Not you. Wait, Captain Marvel does that. I totally forgot. Captain Marvel functionally heals every turn 1. It's not as important. It's nice card cycling, but I've been playing a whole bunch of Captain Marvel. I did a whole campaign with her. I built only core set, which I think we're going to make video content on this channel of how to build core set only and how to play against core set in a way that's a bit more maybe thoughtful. And yeah, just build a Captain Marvel deck leadership, and it was very good. Expert entire solo core set campaign. Really, really fun. But shout out to Captain Marvel, and I'm very excited for Wonder Man, who hopefully is coming out in February, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Standard and no, I need to beat Ronan the Accuser. Played all of it yesterday, so I'll definitely take another crack at Ronan today or tomorrow, depending on when I choose to stream Earthborn. Oh, very cool. I think Ronan is difficult, but Ronan to me felt more manageable than Nebula. So there's a chance that you're over the curve. Nebula, sometimes you just draw terribly. Sometimes you don't draw any of her techniques and she doesn't do anything. But yeah, Nebula, Ronan, he hits pretty hard. I think you'll find out. Wonder Man looks like it'll be absolutely amazing to play. Yeah, Wonder Man's shtick is he can play any card. I don't think I have the art here, but he's allowed to play any card that has an energy icon on it and is encouraged to do so. So you can start splashing in some pretty wild stuff. Maybe they have to be events. I'm pretty sure they have to be energy events. Okay, let me catch my breath, have a coffee. I feel like I'm always out of breath in the morning. Oh, I guess we'll talk about this later because I don't want to front load everything that's not gameplay. But Maddie and I finally played PvP yesterday. I played what's his name? Bucky Barnes. I played Winter Soldier against my partner Spider-Woman, which is this sort of. And then she played, I net decked a busted leadership, Spider-Ham. And she played against my Captain Marvel. That on the screen. It was okay. It was fine. We'll talk about it more later. I made my partner play on standard. She's not a big expert enjoyer, and I played against expert. I don't think you shuffle the expert cards into the campaign deck. When you play expert PvP, are you meant to add the expert cards? Because it doesn't say you do. But I'm realizing a lot of scenarios don't say to add the expert cards. Like Kang's Arrival doesn't say to add the expert cards. So I didn't. But yeah, Maddie should have been playing on expert, I think is what we learned out pretty quickly. All right. I deeply don't understand the point in versus mode for MC. I deeply don't understand. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like, it's not landing here because my household doesn't care for that. We go to Marvel Champions for solo or cooperative. That's uniquely what the game does. I think for a lot of people, that is a pull, right? Like maybe conventions, but it's just like the game's been around for so long. Why don't they try something else? I don't know. I don't expect to see more PvP content. I think people are going to figure out how to homebrew stuff to be PvP. I think what I've realized is a bunch of the coolest cards in Civil War, or the most interesting cards, are part of the PvP concept. Like the cards that you only play in PvP mode. Those are kind of neat, I guess. But yeah, no, PvP is not something I think I'm going to be playing a lot of. So hopefully people enjoy it. I know it's not exactly meant for me. Okay, let's talk about this. This is our hero, Spider-Woman. 111 stat line. Really bad. Not even that bad for back then, but really bad. There's a lot of heroes that had like 4 stat points and then ways to increase them. She has 3 stat points. That's honestly not that bad for when she came out. Now, her interrupt says, when you're in hero mode, when you play an aspect card, Spider-Woman gets +1 toward attack and defense for the end of that round. Not phase, round. That's really, really quite nice. That means if you buff your defense, you can block. Not that we're doing that. And notably, it says limit once per round for each aspect. The cool thing about this card is that it didn't name all the aspects, which means we can play pool. So since Spider-Woman came out many moons later, there was a 5th aspect announced. It has these nice pink cards, and this is the pool aspect from Deadpool's pack. Deadpool cards, I don't know off the top of my head how many there actually are. I feel like it's maybe 3 dozen cards. It's not that big of a card pool. And since pool came out a year and a half ago, I think, we haven't seen any more pool cards. They don't expect us to for a while. The pool aspect, I don't play a lot. It's not my favorite. There's some really weird things. It's overall very powerful. It has some very zany, very strong effects. And there's actually, that's the one aspect that has a built-in downside. And this is something I almost forgot about. But there's this card here called Crisis of Infinite Deadpools. And anytime that you're playing a pool deck, you have to shuffle this into the counter deck. And this card functionally acts like a Shadow of the Past. When you draw, you reveal the set-aside Dreadpool minion and a side scheme, and then you shuffle the rest of that set into this deck. I drew this on turn 1 yesterday, which is not something I thought would happen consistently, specifically against Kang. Kang's deck is goofy big. But yeah, I drew this turn 1 yesterday. And when this shows up, you get this minion called Dreadpool. And Dreadpool doesn't go away. There are technically ways in the format to get rid of Dreadpool, but he's a 3 health, 2/2, 2 scheme, 2 attack. And whenever he's defeated, he's just dealt as an encounter card for the next round. So he does not go away. He is infinite, just the way that Deadpool can't die. I don't know. I'm not super excited about this. Some of the other cards that you put into the counter deck are more interesting, specifically the ones that also target Deadpool's regeneration and actually can make him die permanently. Those are kind of interesting. But like when this hits the table on turn 1, I think I wasted like 24, 30 damage just defeating Dreadpool over and over again. And I don't think that made the scenario more interesting. So I'm not sure I love playing Pool just because of this thing. Because when this thing shows up, I want to be very clear. It's manageable, but it's just a total waste of time. You're just doing the same thing over and over again as defeating this thing. Or if you want, just taking 2 damage, which honestly is not the worst. You can just take 2 damage. You have ways to mitigate that. But if that shows up, we'll see how fast it shows up. I'm just going to shuffle this ahead of time. But I did draw this on turn 1 in a practice game yesterday, and it sucked. Dreadpool is great against Tigra? Yeah, Tony, how's it going? Yeah, I imagine somebody who wants minions like Tigra or even Winter Soldier, like you appreciate this, Rocket. For us, it's just a waste of everything. It's just a waste. It's just 3 damage every turn gets assigned into this, for better for worse. Blue and Pink, I've never tried her with Pool. I'm excited to see what their game plan is. Here's some really good reasons to play Spider-Woman in Pool, and hopefully you'll see them in just a moment. Anyways, this is our hero. And so the idea is we want to play a lot of different aspect cards. Now, our deck actually has every single aspect. That's a huge advantage to playing Pool. Is Spider-Woman, what's really unique about her kit is that she comes with a bunch of these cards. And you notice how Spider-Woman's face is on them? These are her hero kit, but she gets about 8 of these cards that are technically blue cards, green cards, yellow cards, and red cards. This actually matters because these cards count towards her hero building restriction, which she has to have an equal amount of 2 different aspects, which means our deck technically has more added Pool cards than leadership cards because there's already 2 leadership cards in the deck. But these are not only busted powerful cards, they count as those aspects, which mean it is possible, and I haven't landed this yesterday, that we can get plus 5 to all our stats on a single turn where we play every single aspect, including Pool, in the same turn. It is possible, and notably, she has a very, very low cost curve. Her most expensive card is her ally, which we'll try to get out on turn 1, but everything else in her deck is like 2 cost or less, and she has some good research generators. So very, very good, very, very smooth, and her stats get really big. And then she has multiple ways in her kit to ready herself, as much as Pool also adds a nice way to consistently ready herself. And readying herself gives a lot of good value because she's on average 3 attack, 3 thwart, 3 defend, or 4, somewhere around there. So you can do that twice. That's very, 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 very good. What sleeves do you use? Shesh, how's it going? Happy New Year's. I recently resleeved everything, and I would say honestly I have not been prepared for how emotionally devastatingly wasteful this is, but I've been resleeving everything in Dragon Shield mats. Classically I use the Gamegenic Prime line. I think that's what they're called. They're fine. They're not my favorite. They were twice as cheap as this, but I kind of promised myself if I ended up back in full-time work and I had some disposable income, I would Dragon Shield everything, and I bought a whole bunch of Dragon Shields for cheap over sales on the holiday. So I've been resleeving any card that I use to see like how long parts of my collection are still in Gamegenics. Dragon Shields I cannot recommend more, but they're very expensive. That's the only thing I would say about them. They're very, very expensive. Dreadpool is great. Hello. Also looks like I got here just in time. Just in time. Alter ego text is like fine. We have, mind you, 6 or 5 hand size, 11 hit points. Double agent just says we have to pick 2 aspects when we do our deck building. We pick leadership and Pool, pink and blue, trans rights. Action, look at the top card of the deck. That ability we can actually use. It's look at the top card of any deck. Sometimes we'll use this on our deck. Sometimes we'll use it on the encounter deck. It depends on context. There's one really cool Pool card that really cares about knowing the top card of our deck. So we're going to use that when it comes up, but it's not the most important thing. All right, her hero cards are on average absurd, just straight up absurd, especially because they're aspect cards, which really helps. Pheromones is a 2-cost stun and confuse an enemy. In solo, this is messed up. Like, this is the strongest card in the whole deck. It is absurd. For 2 cost, canceling 2 activations, and not only the double activation has so much safety, you can jump down, you can stay up, do whatever you want. We have 2 of these. Cannot say enough about this. Contaminant immunity, which I always say this thing wrong. Contaminant immunity also incredibly strong. 2 costs for heal 3 and give her a tough status card is very quite good. This also cancels 1.5 activations functionally. Very, very good, very easy to play. In early game, it kind of sucks. There's a weird problem this deck has, which is when you're at full health, you actually have issues. So there's a couple cards, including this, that give us healing, which we might choose not to play on certain board states. From here, the cards get a bit less exciting. We have inconspicuous. This is just remove 3 threat from any schemes in play, so you can divide it. That's nice. 1 for 3 is technically good. That's okay, but it's not a card you want to write home about. But having a very cheap Justice card is nice because it's the only Justice card in our deck. And then finally Venom Blast, which is incredibly boring, surprisingly boring. It's 2 for 5, which is fine. We talked about value versus tempo. This is definitely tempo. However, that's all it does. It's just like these 2 cards are very interesting and very powerful, and then these are like, do you want a 2 for 5 and a 1 for 3? Yay! They're fine. You feel okay about them. Self-propelled glide. One thing I haven't shouted out is a lot of these cards, including Venom Blast, are superpowers. That matters. But self-propelled glide, we have 3 of them in this kit. It just says Ready Spider-Woman. She gains Aerial. We don't care about Aerial at all, but Ready Spider-Woman is really good because ideally our stats are somewhere around 3 on average, which means we pay a card to do 3 thwart, 3 attack, something flexible. The bigger our stats, the more important that is. Finesse, really quite good. It's a condition. We have 2 of them. It's a 2-cost resource generator for hero mode that just says generate a wild for an aspect card. That's obviously really good because barring these self-propelled glides, we already have these 8 aspect cards, which means our deck on average has more aspect cards than most other decks, let alone these cards all cost 2 or 1, which means we are always going to be able to play them with 1 or 2 self-propelled glides. Did I lose one? Yeah, it's there. It's really, really good. 2-cost research generators are very, very good. And one thing I want to point out and hopefully be corrected before I go deeper into the tank is that this card, the way that is ruled right now, when it says pay for an aspect card, it's not to play an aspect card. You can use this on any card that's an aspect card that needs a resource. So for instance, and we're not playing it, but you can use this to play make the call. Wait, I'm not sure about that one, but that one doesn't matter. Let me show you a pool card where I'm pretty sure this does work. This is stick-to-itiveness. This is a pool upgrade that says spend a physical resource and exhaust this card to ready your hero. If you haven't seen the pool cards, a lot of them are like rehashes of old cards with, you know, it's kind of like the Blackout, Marvel, Magic the Gathering kind of cards where you modify a couple words. You can spend a finesse on this because you are generating a wild resource for an aspect card. So any sort of upgrade that requires for a certain aspect, and we have so many of them in pool that require, a certain type of resource, you can use finesse for them. That's a huge reason to consider pool in Spider-Woman, because almost all of the upgrades that you can play, or all the upgrades I like playing, specifically the metagame upgrades, require certain colors of resources, and we can generate them very, 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 very consistently. I've also been resleeving in Dragon Shield. I'm halfway done. I got a huge deal on bulk. It's been a nightmare. Yeah, I don't know what to do with all the old sleeves. That's my biggest issue. It's like they're just a pile of garbage now, and I don't think you can recycle them, and I feel terrible. I sadly don't have the Red Skull box, so I'm excited to see how she plays. I know the Civil War version can be very annoying. I've liked her more than I thought I would. I also only realized yesterday she can only get 3 finesse counters. I thought it was unlimited. That's nice. We have Jessica Drew's apartment. This card's fine. Alter Ego, look at the top 5 of your deck and add an aspect card to your hand, shuffle your deck. You almost always hit. Your deck does have more aspect cards than most because we have 8 extras, so this usually does hit. You shuffle, so you don't know the top card of your deck. It's fine. I wouldn't jump down to do this, but you can. And then, this is why we're playing this deck. There's 2 things I really wanted to do. Play Deadpool in Spider-Woman, which check. And secondly, play Captain Marvel Sidekick. Captain Marvel is one of the best unique allies. She's 4 cost, which is very expensive for our deck. 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health, and she says after Captain Marvel uses a basic power, draw a card. That's obviously very good because you get 2 thwart and a card draw. Notably, our cost curve is very low, so drawing a card is usually very good for us because we can probably play that card, or the way our deck is built, we can use any abstract extra resources in very, very tangible ways. The thing is with Captain Marvel, she only has 3 health. So we either want to buff her health or keep her going. And when you play leadership, you can definitely do that. I feel like there's a subsection of leadership decks, subsection of heroes decks, where their unique ally is just so good that as soon as you combine Sidekick, you have such a ridiculously powerful, consistent stew going, and this is no different. Shout out to X23, shout out to Miss Marvel, I think. I think there's a couple that really do this well, but Sidekick is another card I haven't played with enough because I don't play a lot of leadership, so that's how we ended up here. This is Sidekick, love the art, love the color. Attached to an identity-specific ally you control. Mind you, this is a unique card functionally, or max 1 per deck, more accurately. So we have to find this one unique copy, and we have to have Captain Marvel on the table first. That is a bit of a hoop to jump through, but we have ways to make it more smooth. Now, the attached ally immediately gets +2 hit points and becomes your sidekick. Your sidekick inherently has no extra rules baggage. However, there's a bunch of cards that will refer to your sidekick, and that matters. So not only does Captain Marvel now become 5 health, and again, every time she exhausts functionally, we draw a card, but after you make a basic recovery, we can heal 2 damage from attached ally. Now, this is slightly a problem, is that we have a lot of healing in the deck. Because Deadpool has a lot of healing in the deck, or Pool does, excuse me, and we have Contaminant and Immunity. We actually heal a lot. What I've run into in testing games is when Spider-Woman's at full health, you can't recover. You can't choose to recover in this game if you are at full health. That's just a rule of the game because you're not changing game state. So we actually want to sustain a slight bit of damage, and sometimes we won't play healing because we want to be able to go to an alter ego and exhaust to sidekick to heal Captain Marvel. We cannot do a basic recovery if we're at full health. It's a minor problem. It's something I butted into, and it's like, oh, that's kind of awkward. We have ways to get around it, but also a really good reason to play Pool is we have some very, very strong, consistent healing outside of using this ability. But this ability is good. This is our main combo, or the leadership part of the combo. Now we have a whole bunch of cards that make the combo even stronger. The issue with this deck is because you have to play an equal amount of leadership and pool cards. And I also want to play only 40 cards because hitting our combo consistently is really important. So we really want a smaller deck size. Is that there's a whole bunch of leadership cards that I could not fit into this deck. Sky Cycle definitely felt necessary. You attach to an Avenger ally, which Captain Marvel is, and then you can exhaust this to ready attached ally. That's very good because that means Captain Marvel now can draw 2 cards a turn, let alone thwart for 2, attack for 2. There's some other cards you can play in this slot, like Command Team or whatever that big ship is that you can exhaust, but Sky Cycle is phenomenal. Inspired seemed very necessary. Inspired, you attach to an ally, they get +1 thwart, +1 attack. Now Captain Marvel, who will stay around forever, is 3/3. 3 is just such a big breakpoint. It hits most minions. It hits a lot of side schemes in solo. Very, very good. I do want to shout out at some point, I tried out Power Gloves, which if you have a lot of toughness, that's actually kind of nice if you want to do this instead. You lose out a fair bit of thwarting, but Justice and technically Pool, I don't think either, but definitely Justice has no way of dealing with toughness. Justice has just no piercing. Sorry, not Justice. Leadership. Leadership just has no piercing cards whatsoever. So this is like kind of close to piercing as much as you have to like do attack or thwart something else, but Inspired makes a lot more sense. And then we have to play some of these cards that care about sidekicks. We're only playing 2 copies of Side by Side. I think you could play more, but again, we have to play an equal amount of leadership and pool cards, which is difficult. This says ready your sidekick, ready your hero, which we love readying ourselves because our stats can get up. And then either we heal but 1 damage from both characters, or both characters get +1 thwart, +1 attack. That's obviously really good because this card, I wouldn't say is a cantrip because you have to pay 2 for it, but it's a nice leadership card. So our stats go up 1, and then we can go once more with Captain Marvel, which draws another card and heals her. So that's functionally free. One thing you have to watch out is if Captain Marvel's ever had 1 health, you cannot play Side by Side because the cost to playing Side by Side is readying Captain Marvel. So what I mean is if your turn starts and Captain Marvel's on 1 health, this card is useless. You have to generally leave Captain Marvel at least 2 health or have some of your pool aspect healing options, because if you have her at 1 health and you've drawn this, congratulations, it's useless because you cannot exhaust her. You have to figure out some other way to exhaust her. Maybe she's stunned or confused, but this card's a bit harder to play if she's fully injured. We have Suit Up. This card has technically been errated, minor errata, but kind of an important errata. I think now all the text on this card says alter ego action costs 2. We have 2 of these. Search your deck and discard power for an ally and an upgrade. And I think they kind of just leave it there. I think the text is now an upgrade that can be attached to an ally. Technically not to the ally necessarily because the way that it checks in your hand doesn't always make sense. Add them to your hand. We have 2 of these. It's kind of a bummer to play alter ego cards, specifically aspect cards, because that will never interact with her text because you're in alter ego where it doesn't count that you played leadership cards. But this is how we go get any of our upgrades, let alone Captain Marvel. We're only playing 2 of these. I think you could play 3. I think the deck is not awful without Captain Marvel, so I'm not feeling like playing 3 because it's not the best draw, as much as this card technically gets any ally and any upgrade, and we have multiples of allies and upgrades, so it's totally fine, but it's okay. Finally, Beast. I just like Beast. Beast is technically expensive, but when you play Beast, you get a resource back. And when we play Pool, we have some really strong resources to bring back. So Beast is usually only costs us like 1 resource. And then I'm playing Maria Hill because I just wanted a bit more thwarting, and because playing cheap cards that draw cards is really good for Spider-Woman. Let me catch up on chat and give me a second. I played a deck quite like this, but with aggression instead of Pool, and using the Hulk ally along Captain Marvel, where you can peek at the top card of your deck. Hulk can be consistent. Oh, cool. How do you peek at the top card of your deck? Just with like the Jessica's ability? Buffing him with blue upgrades is funny. I like Hulk a lot. I even think just Hulk as a blocker is like totally reasonable in aggression, but Hulk is a really fun card. All right, so there's 3 of these resource cards that Pool has. They generate mental, physical, or energy. They have kind of tongue-in-cheek ideas and names. How these work is that they generate twice as many resources if your identity has sustained less than 5, not 5 or less than 5. And if you're at full health, these are triples. This is why I wanted to play Beast. Having a triple on turn 1 is also really good because Captain Marvel is expensive if you get her down. These are good reasons to stay at full health, but admittedly, it's a bit awkward when we're at full health because we cannot heal our sidekick. But these cards are definitely very good, and there's a reason to play Pool alone is these cards because there are just a lot of extra doubles and triples, and they're not wild, they're typed, which also kind of matters. Speaking of healing factor, this card's really good. And this is what I mean. Like the Pool cards on average are very, very, very strong, which is why you have to shuffle in that one card into the deck that just kind of goofs your game up. Healing factor, max 1 per player. And it says after the player phase ends, you can choose to exhaust this to heal 2 damage. That's obviously very good. We don't want to be blocking with our allies because our big ally is like super, super important to keep on the table. But this gives you a lot of sustain. If you want it, it's not forced. So on turns where we're at 10 health, we'll jump down and recover sometimes Captain Marvel, but this card's good. And then welcome to the fun stuff. This is the most important card in the deck. And these are called the metagame cards. I think there's 3 or 4 of them. There's 4, I'm pretty sure. We're playing 3 of them. But they're just like the coolest cards because they care about the resource types on the cards you play. Let's start with these 2, and specifically tic-tac-toe is the most fun. Hero action says spend 1 resource of any type. Now, firstly, this does trigger Finesse, from my understanding, because Finesse generates a resource for an aspect card, and technically you're spending an aspect card on tic-tac-toe. If someone can kindly prove me wrong, from what I looked at the FAQ, this is correct so far, but if this is wrong, that actually has a huge impact on this deck, or a big impact on the deck. The deck is still functional. But what you do with tic-tac-toe is whenever you spend a resource of that type, you fill in that slot based off the resource on this tic-tac-toe board. Now, this is a bit tricky to do on stream. So I got this, these are counters from, what's it called? Res Arcana. Shout out to Res Arcana. Kind of a sick game. You're correct. That's how it works. Perfect. So if we spend a physical, we can cover up one of these. Now, the way this works, and I'll explain why we're covering these up. Anytime you cover up one of these, you can move a damage from a character to an empty space above. That is functionally healing, which means that this is a super cheap and consistent way to heal Captain Marvel to keep her around forever. This is also a card that if she's on 1 health, we can heal her and then do our sidekick thing. But this card just gives you so much free healing. And by free, I mean it costs 1 resource. And because we have so much card draw, Captain Marvel can keep herself sustained. It is an infinite motion machine. It is a bit redundant because you're spending the card to heal her to draw another card, but that's actually kind of worth it. Card cycling is worth something. But whenever you heal a damage or remove a damage from a character, you put it on here. And then as soon as you get a tic-tac-toe 3 in a row, so let's just say that we did this, you have to immediately discard this card. All of the counters on it become damage you can reassign to a character, kind of like an attack, but this beats discard and it's technically not an attack. And that's it. And it blows up. That functionally means the most healing and most damage you can get from a single copy of tic-tac-toe is 7, because you can do 6 on here without doing a line. The 7th always causes a line. You'll see the pattern when it shows up. But this card is just so absurd and is easily like one of my favorite pool cards. I like caring about aspects or caring about resource colors. I think that makes this deck actually really high skill cap because you have to be planning, you know, the rows you're going to be making. And then like you have to have 2 cards you want to put on this every turn. The weirdest thing about this card is it doesn't exhaust. So you can do it infinitely. You can have a 5 card hand. You can just dump it in for 5 healing, which like I wouldn't recommend doing it, but like it's so weird to me because I clearly do not care about energy shield. And this is functionally like energy shield. As much as healing is a bit better than damage prevention, that's actually not entirely true. But while this takes multiple kinds of resources, I sleep on energy shield when I spend 1 resource for 1 healing. But on this card, it just feels so much better. On the other hand, we have Blackout, which is also fine. It's a cheap pool card to play, which is nice. It's a 0-cost card. And it does the same thing. You spend a resource to fill in one of these slots based off of what you spent, and it just removes threat from a scheme. It is not a thwart, which is nice because it beats Confuse, it beats Patrol. And then once this is full, you discard it and confuse the villain. I'll be honest, I've never filled this in any of my test games. I filled this in multiple times in my test games, but this card's just fine and fun, so we'll do it for sure. Now, finally, we also have this. This is why we care about the top of our deck. This is rock, paper, scissors. It exhausts this card, and then you choose a card in your hand. You don't discard it. You choose a card in your hand, so there's no real cost associated. And then you discard the top card of your deck. Then you look at the diagram. Based on the icon of the card you chose in your hand, if it beats the card you discarded, you add the discarded card to your hand. This is really nice, where if we're in Jessica Drew, we can see the top of our deck to make it guaranteed. I think the chart says we have more energy cards than anything else by a small margin. So if we're just going off the top of the rope, we should just say physical. If this card whiffs, it's not the end of the world. If it succeeds, it's sick. Sometimes we're going to have to ask chat for your favorite symbol and we'll just rip it. But these cards are like incredibly consistent. This one at least is incredibly consistent. This one's fun. This one's fine and powerful and fine. Very, very cool. I would like to learn how to do a 7. I thought the 6 always triggered a 3 in a row. No, you can do, oh, I'll show you. You can do a 7. So what you want to do is you want to do, excuse me, 1, 2, right? Then you do the opposite corner, 3, 4, and then you do the sides of the middle, 5, 6, right? This is the most you can do without doing a line. Then the 7th, wherever you drop it, we'll do a 3 in a row, and then you get 7 in a damage. Because the 7th one triggers it. So maybe we're talking about the same thing, but technically the 7th one does do the damage, if I'm reading this correctly. But that's the symbol. This is you can get on, and this is technically still inert. As soon as the 7th one goes on, it pops off. All right. I'm probably not going to sort this out. Cool, thanks. Yeah, that's how it works. It's good. It's a very good card. Like it a lot. All right, we have this stick-to-itiveness. We've already shown this one. It's also very good for our deck because our stats are good. Spend a physical to ready yourself is quite nice. And then we're just playing some of the like good average pool cards. Cut Upper is a 3-cost 5 damage with a stun. This is actually pretty expensive for our deck, so it's not my favorite card. We have a lot cheaper access to Stun or Confuse, but I just like playing this card because it's fun. And then we're playing only 2 allies. Notably, I think pool cards come into like 2 or 3 different quadrants. I guess 3 or 4 different quadrants. One of the quadrants cares about icon maxing. We're playing none of those cards. Then a bunch of the other cards are just allies, and they're really unique allies, and we're playing a couple of them. I don't think you need to. I think you could have grabbed some of the other extraneous like healing cards or whatever for pool that you want. But these cards are kind of fun to play with. So all of the pool allies, they don't take any consequential, but they have bad abilities, or sorry, bad stats on them, or like bad symbols. So Bob costs 2, which we like cheap cards, has 2 health. After Bob enters play, Robert does 2 damage to an enemy or removes a threat from a scheme. That's fine. He thwarts for 1 and attacks for 1, which is okay because there's no consequential, but he has an acceleration icon. That's what Pool does. Gives you a really busted card, but then puts a bad symbol on it. Bob is fine. Usually we'll play Bob, do something with Bob for a couple turns. In theory, Bob cancels out the 1 acceleration, so it's like neutral technically, but you can also block with Bob, so that's not the worst. Dogpool is another one that I like a fair bit. He's cheap, has Retaliate and Toughness. I don't always love allies with Toughness because you can't use them on the turn they come in because they'll knock out their own Toughness, but that's not the case for Dogpool, who doesn't have consequential, so Dogpool can attack. When defeated, you deal damage to an enemy. I will forget that text for sure. It's like relatively inconsequential, but Dogpool is quite fine as a nice little blocker. 3 costs is on the top end of expensive for our deck, but we don't mind that at all. All right, we're playing very few basic cards, and I think you have a huge incentive to play fewer basic cards because we care about aspect cards so much. So all the basic cards you have to play have to be bangers. We're playing Depth Focus because we have a whole bunch of superpower cards in our kit, and a couple of the Deadpool cards, I believe, are also superpowers. So we'll play a cheap research generator. That's all the research generators we need is 2 Finesses and 1 of those. We're playing Nick Fury because drawing cards is just good in this deck, as much as Nick Fury technically is not an aspect card. And then we're just ending this up with Energy, Genius, and Strength because we have a lot of 2-cost cards, so that lines up well. So far, and admittedly there's a bit of a question mark if you don't draw your setup with your nemesis, or sorry, with your ally. This deck has been really good. I have been lucky to set up Captain Marvel super consistently. Again, we have 3 cards in our deck that we can draw into in our opening hand. I haven't run the hypergeometric if you full mulligan for it, but I'm assuming it's above 50%. And when we have Captain Marvel, things are good. Things are really, really good. It does get a bit annoying because we have only 1 of each type of upgrade. So if you have to throw out and mulligan away your copy of Sidekick, Captain Marvel is still good, and you can still heal her nearly infinitely using your pool cards. You just have a couple fewer ways to ready her and a couple more dead cards in your deck. Now, you can still jump down and do suit up. That's not the most difficult thing to do, but yeah, it's been surprisingly good. And I think Pool and Finesse work really well together. And then Leadership with Sidekick works nice. This is like a really peanut butter jelly-esque combo in my experience so far, as much as there's a lot of different ways to play this. Yo, Jai, how's it going? Hey, yo, hey, man, dog, I had no idea it was the Winter Showdown this weekend. And then I tuned in the other night or the other day and got to hear your voice doing some great commentary and had a great time. I feel really bad. I didn't even plug the event. Showdown cut starts in 20 minutes, but classes start tomorrow, so I'm heading to sleep. Yo, enjoy classes tomorrow, Jai. Get some sleep. But I had no idea it was a big event. I need to apologize to Abraham. I was like totally checked out of Discord over the holidays. I'm glad that it's going so well. I love Kang. Hey, Nolan. How's it going? Happy New Year. Hopefully you're well. All right. Let's give this a shuffle. We're doing Kang. We have amped the difficulty slightly in Kang. We're playing Expert Kang. Kang is one of the few sets that actually has expert versions of cards. So this is actually Kang Expert. That's kind of neat. Technically Civil War did that, but they don't label it like that. So we'll show you how the setup is. Our deck is shuffled. We are here. We're going to be tracking our stats increasing. The best way I could do it, and this is not amazing on stream, is I have 5 different color dies. The symbols on them don't actually matter. You can't actually tell the colors that well either because they're kind of clear on the table. They kind of get washed out a bit. So I'm going to put them on the one side, which shows the most color. And then anytime that we spent a card of that type, oh, shout out to the one on this being an NBN die, I will just move them above us. So this means technically we have 3 stat because we have base 1. It's not my favorite. I wish I had die of every color. The problem is I do not have dice in pink. Or sorry, I don't have dice in yellow. So it doesn't look that great. But we'll get through it. Wife is getting better. Oh, that's good to hear. Hey, yeah, apologies, I forgot to ask. That's really good to hear. Hopefully y'all are doing better. All right, let's talk about the villain. This is Kang. I guess we should start here with Kang's arrival. So Kang's arrival says they were going to be playing with Kang 2 and 3 on expert. We're playing standard with expert. So standard, just standard, not standard 3. With the modular encounter set, we're playing is slightly different. So let's just show you what we're working with. This is Kang. It's a big deck, 26 cards, 8 obligations is a lot. Some treachery, some attachments, some side schemes, like 3 minions. I think they all have guard. But then the one we're playing with, we're not playing with temporal. We are playing with I need to figure out how to spell it. I figured it out. We're trying to play with the Anachronauts. That first Anachronaut there, Apocryphus, has a really bad when revealed. It says discard an ally or support you control. Our deck has like, I think 2 supports, maybe 1. And if that hits and we don't have an extra ally and we lose our like mecha Captain Marvel, we're kind of cooked. That did happen the other day, so we have to watch out for that. But Anachronauts adds a whole bunch of big minions. This is like a Masters of Evil ++ kind of deck. There's not that many minions and it's a massive deck. So we'll see if they show up, but they're very impactful when they do. So we have to set every Kang 3 aside, Kang 2 and 3 is aside, Kang's Dominion, remove each player, shuffle in the counter deck. Mind you, we're not playing with our obligation. That's kind of cool. We still have to add the Dreadpool obligation to the deck, but our obligation, Uncertain Loyalties, is not in the deck. I'm not 100% sure why that is, but this doesn't play with base obligations. That's it. We can flip this over. Kang's Arrival. I think this just has like ongoing text. Oh, when revealed, deal each player an encounter card. I like that. Kang believes that by defeating Earth's mightiest heroes, the rest of the planet will submit to his rule. When I like that, I mean, I like that it's like, oh, Kang showed up. Here's an extra problem suddenly. This is Kang. Kang is hard to search up in my system because there's a lot of different subtyped Kangs, so you're going to have to be a bit patient with me. Kang, the Conqueror, has toughness, 15 health. Forced interrupt. When Kang attacks you, either place 1 threat on the main scheme or he gets +2 attack. So kind of like the text on Goblin, but you make a choice about it. And when defeated, at the end of the phase, we advance to stage 2. Stage 2s are going to be random. There's 4 of them. I think we want the one without retaliate. So we have a 3 and 4 hit rate. The other ones I think are relatively similar to us. And then once we did stage 2, we go on to stage 3. This is one of the very few 3-stage villains we have to deal with. Villain Theory talked about a Falcon Pool and how you can cancel out Dreadpool with his cancel encounter card. Fun little thing. Yeah, you can pin him down. I think there's another way. Yeah, I think you can also get rid of him now with Coup de Grace. I think Coup de Grace gets rid of him. Because it says defeat a non-elite minion with an upgrade attached, ignoring the when defeated. Oh, no, never mind. He's elite. So that doesn't work. I think the one thing you can do is you can put him underneath Falcon's aerial recon and just leave him there. Exhaust area recon, deal player face down card, place 1 recon counter. When a player would be dealt encounter card, remove and recon from here instead. I think that works. I think you can cancel it being dealt up. I'm not sure what the interaction is, but I know that that could happen. That's why I was like a bit not sure, because I sleeve this up in a big red sleeve, red clear sleeve, just so I don't accidentally get rid of this, which I have a tendency to do. And that means if this ever gets shuffled into the deck, I have to unsleeve it, annoyingly. Hey, Timothy, going undercover. If you have a Justice player, is super fun too. Use it for shadows often. Going undercover, like the side scheme. Oh, you also have the card that allows you to swap encounter cards from the table at the top of the deck in Falcon. That also works, I think. The defeating player looks at the top 5 cards in the counter deck. They may add one non-scenario specific card from among those to the victory display. Yeah, so you need to get it into the encounter deck first, then going undercover will work. I've never played this card. I don't totally understand it. Maybe in multiplayer it makes more sense, but I never feel like this is consistent enough to want to do anything, let alone the effect. At least it costs 0. Okay. That's it. This is our encounter card. We are Jessica Drew. I'm going to move the mouse, and we should be off. Good luck and have fun, y'all. Let's go. Bob. We don't need Bob. Oh, this is Bob. This is the pedal I was meant to hit. We don't really need Bob on turn 1. Bob doesn't do anything. We don't need a 2-coster. We want to find Jessica. Sorry, we want to find Captain Marvel and suit up, so we'll mulligan for that. Maria Hill, she's okay. She draws a card, but there's no threat on the table, so she's pretty low value. Self-confidence, we always keep one of these, just because if we draw any expensive card, we have a couple 3-costers, we'll keep it, and we are technically at full health. Self-controlled, I'll maybe not keep this, because honestly, we don't have that many 3-cost cards, and digging deeper into our deck to find our combo is much more important. This is 3 mentals. Self-propelled glide, more self cards. Also doesn't matter because our stats are usually not that high on turn 1, let alone there's not much to do. And then 6th card is healing factor. Okay. Healing factor is probably worth keeping because it is one of our nice setup 3-cost cards. So we could do this and then mulligan 3. Again, we have 3 cards left in our 44 card deck that can get us to Captain Marvel in turn 1. The issue is if we play those cards, we probably don't play healing factor. So I think what we do is we pitch one of these. I don't think which one matters. And then we see 4 more cards. And if we find Captain Marvel, we don't play healing factor. I think doing this is not amazing because the chance of drawing another 3-cost card is kind of mid. And we still have a bunch of resources in our deck. So I'm going to do this and hope for the best. So we'll do 4 more. Def Focus, love to set up with that. Almost all our hero cards are superpowers. Like, not this one, but that's a better setup as well. So it looks like we're just going to do some good value setup. Sidekick, but no sidekick unless... No, that's not it. So this is our least favorite card in the deck. So this is going to be a good setup turn. I think we're going to be able to set up not everything because it's a bit awkward. So we can play Healing Factor. We can spend 2 for Finesse, but then Finesse can't play Def Focus. I think that might be okay. This is a superpower though, so the problem is like we have nothing else to spend this on. So like if we do self-confidence for Finesse, we can use Finesse and we can use this for Def Focus. We can do it. Finesse, Def Focus, and Sidekick for Healing Factor. Wait, that's not going to be. Actually, this does work. Is Basic an aspect? No, Basic is not an aspect. Specifically not an aspect. Kind of an edge case thing, but not an aspect. Captain Marvel can draw a card, so I think you can play Healing Factor 2 if you wanted to and head her. Yeah, that's the cool thing with Captain Marvel is the turn that you play her, if you don't have a resource, you dump her hand, but then she draws a card if you get her with, what's it called? The 2-cost search suit up. So it like has some weird openings where then you have to use Captain Marvel to get +1. All right, I think we can do all of this. We definitely want to be playing cards when we're in hero mode, but not that we're going to play any aspect cards, so that doesn't really matter. We can use our text to look at the top card of our deck or the top card of the villain's deck. Now, I don't think we're going to look at our deck because it's not going to change how we set up. I think we're just going to play all the resource generators and our healing factor, then take the toughness off. So if that's the case, we're just going to look at the top of this deck to know how many boosts are coming in because it's any deck. Looks like this is time travel tactics. It says gains +1 boost for each obligation in your play area. So this has 2 boosts on it because it has a stock 1 boost on it. And that's it. We will flip up. The cool thing is we don't have to flip up because we know exactly how much threat he's putting in to draw an extra card, but I think we'll be okay. We'll take the toughness off. So we're in hero mode. Unfortunately, our text won't matter. So if I'm not mistaken, we do self-confidence for Finesse. So this generates a wild or an aspect card, either playing the card or using the card, it turns out. Then we'll do Sidekick for Deft Focus. This generates, reduces the cost more accurately of the next superpower. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3, and we'll play Healing Factor, which is a card that I'll forget, but it is a superpower. And we can choose to exhaust this at the beginning of our turn. That was a really good start. We'll just attack for 1, truly is 1 to take off the toughness and we'll pass. All right, we'll draw 5. Where's Captain Marvel? Ooh, rock, paper, scissors. We just want to get lucky. I think we could do that. Suit up. So now we have an incentive to jump down to alter ego because we can get our captain, which is nice. We also can see the top card of our deck, but the problem with rock, paper, scissors is that's a hero card. All the meta cards you can't do in alter ego, at least all the ones in our deck. Jessica's Drew, apartment, excuse me, another really nice reason to go down to alter ego. So that's cool if we want to go down there anyways. A self-preservation. This is interesting because we know we're going to be attacked for 4, so we're not going to be at full health. This will at least be a double. And then we have a blackout, which is the one that I'm not the most excited about, but at least it's super cheap. So cool. All right. It's the villain. We put 1 threat on the main. Hold on. These are hard to get out at the beginning of the day. That has no text. We have 2 encounter cards, so we're hoping for the best here. And then Kang is going to activate against us. And it says either we can give Kang +2 attack or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I'm okay placing 1 threat on the main scheme. Because I think we're going to have to thwart this and jump down. And we're going to be able to thwart easily too. Because I think we're going to play rock, paper. Actually, we might not. I don't want to take too much damage because if we take too much damage, our self-preservation is not good. If we take 4 damage, we're fine. So we'll just put 1 threat here. And we know Kang is attacking for 3. This card has 1 boost. Gets 1 more boost for every obligation. And there's a lot of obligations, so we'll take 4. 2 encounter cards. First. Future weapon. Uh-oh. There's so many encounter cards in this deck. I'm not convinced I've seen all of them. Attach to Kang. When Kang attacks, it gets overkill. If this damages a hero, the hero is stunned. And then discard this +2 attack. Weakened. This is an obligation. Classic. Weekend. Attach to your hero. It doesn't actually say that. But when you draw an obligation, it attaches to you. So it says, after you take a basic hero power, take a damage. Annoying. Because if we take 1 more basic damage, this does not generate 3 resources. And it says, alter ego action, discard a physical from your hand to discard this obligation. Okay. And that's it. It's back to us. Oh, healing aspect is a aspect card. You're totally right. I forgot that. Yeah, we had +1 stat. 100%. We're not going to defend because I think we want to get rid of this. But yeah, we could have defended. I just don't want to exhaust to heal for 2. But yeah, that's a good shout. We played it in a hero mode. I forgot that we played that. Speaking of it, I almost spilled all the coffee. We're going to use healing factor to recover too. So we're up at 9. That means now we can technically take a damage to get rid of something. So I just want to plan this out. Currently, self-preservation generates a double because we're not full health. We generate a double to do suit up in alter ego. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand. We can't use finesse to play for the suit up, and it's not a superpower. So with 5 cards in hand, we'd have to play all of them, play Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel could draw a card. Hopefully we draw a physical, I'll be honest. But I think that's the best we have. Kang, when this completes, we do lose the game, so we're a bit scared here. We can always look at the top of the deck to see how big the boost is and not look at the top of our deck, which that's fine. I don't think we're playing Jessica's Drew, and I don't think we're doing rock, paper, scissors. The other options, if we do blackout, then we get thwart for 2, take a damage, jump down, we do suit up for that. We have 4 cards, we can't play it. So I think what we have to do here is look at the top of the deck. Oh, we can't do that when we're in hero mode. What am I talking about? So I think we just have to hope that this is not a big boost. We should be fine, I hope. So I'm going to use Spider-Woman. She only thwarts for 1 here. I don't think we can make it better. I think that's the best we have. We're going to have to do a big risk here on turn 1 if we want Captain Marvel. Oh no, Captain Marvel will clear this. I guess we just jump down. Yeah, I think we just jump down. Oh, and if we jump down, hold on, we can then be at full health. Yeah, and if we're at full health, we save a card. And if we save a card, we can play Jessica Drew's apartment. Hold on, the whole plan's coming together. Okay, I think we'll just jump down here. I forgot that we can recover. Let alone we can get rid of weakened, which is okay. So Weaken says after you use a basic hero power, recovery is not a hero power from my understanding. It's an alter ego thing. That can't be a hero power, right? So I don't think we'll take damage from Weakened. We'll still get rid of it sooner than later. A bunch of the boosts that we saw care about it. So I think we're just going to recover here. So we'll recover for 3. We're at 11. That means we want to play suit up with 2 cards. I'll keep our physical just in case. The other thing we can do here maybe is play Jessica Drew's apartment. Jessica Drew's draws 1. Then we have 4 cards in hand. We do self-preservation and... No, I'm not going to do that. I don't think it'll work out. It might if we get lucky, but I don't think it does. Sorry. If we play Jessica Drew, let's say it hits. It should hit. It draws as a card. Then we're like this. We spend these 2 cards for self-preservation that upgrade. No, we're not going to do it. Because I think we can attach the upgrade here. So I'm going to pitch 2. to play Suit Up. So search your deck and discard pile for an ally and an upgrade that could be attached to an ally. That is the modern wording. So we'll search through our deck to go grab Captain Marvel. She's near the top. Would we be able to whiff? No, we had so many aspect cards. And then we can search for an upgrade here. We will be able to play the upgrade. And when that's the case, I think I'm just going to grab the unique one from our discard pile because we haven't drawn any of our Sidekick stuff, and we'll just draw Sidekick. If Sidekick was still in her deck, I probably wouldn't have grabbed Sidekick because giving her +1 or getting her the ability to ready is arguably more important. And on this turn actually could be super important. But we haven't drawn any of our side-by-sides, I don't think, so that should be fine. Okay, now we'll generate 3, 4 for the captain. We'll use her to thwart 2, which means she draws a card. We drew a strength. Okay, overkill. And again, anytime that she uses a basic power, we draw a card. And then I'll just throw out the strength to make her our sidekick. I'm just going to cover it. The sidekick just gives her +2 health. Again, we track health remaining. And then when we recover, she heals. So we had to do that in that order. It seems obviously a bit inefficient, but we had to do that in that order. And we'll pass. All right, this is turn 2. Good setup, I think. This is clear, mind you. She thwarted for 2. All right, Inspired. That's the next piece of the puzzle for sure. We have our Sky Cycle, which we haven't seen yet. That's the only other upgrade. So it looks like all our upgrades are still in our deck. And this is a cheap leadership card, which is nice. There's a side-by-side what we want. So it looks like we're going to be drawing a lot of cards this turn. Hopefully we get some other colors in our hand. Well, we don't, but that's a Sky Cycle, which is really quite good now because we can now draw twice with Captain Marvel. Okay, we really should draw other cards. This is a lot of leadership cards. Inconspicuous is fine. We're going to have some threat to get rid of. Good. And then finally we have Cut Upper, which I don't think we're going to play. But that's not too bad. Okay, we have 2 research generators. We're in a good spot. This goes to 1. Kang schemes for 1 in the card. Boosters give Kang a tough status on the Macrobots. This is one of the 3 minions in Kang's deck, but we're worried about the other minions. So that means Kang adds just 1 more. Counter card. Stolen Memories. So this says, place the top 8 cards of your deck face down underneath this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm no longer allowed to look at my deck and shuffle it, which is something I do a lot. We can spend a mental and alter ego to get rid of this. I honestly don't care about this. It's like not the most important thing, but we do care about getting rid of the obligations, and we can only do them in alter ego. So we should make a decision whether we want to do them now or not. I think we do. If we're going to use Captain Marvel, we should use Captain Marvel now, so she can draw cards. And this is what I mean. It's like, not that we would, but we're not allowed to recover here to heal Captain Marvel because you can only recover if you have sustained damage. So I'm just going to do 2 threat off of this to draw a card. It's another Pheromones. Okay. And now with our alter ego, we can either look at the top of our deck, which probably doesn't matter. So we can look at the villain's deck to see what the boost is in case we have something to play around. So I guess we'll do that. The top of the deck is a Gang Up. So just a 1 boost. So not too bad. Okay, so to get rid of these 2, we need to do a physical and a mental. Unfortunately, we have no mentals whatsoever. So Stolen Memories is going to keep stealing our memories for a bit, but we have literally no mentals and we cannot use finesse for it. So we will get rid of Weakened. I think there's no shot we're going to be playing Cut Upper. There's no shot we're going to play 2 Pheromones. So we'll get rid of a second Pheromones and then we'll get rid of Weakened. But this just says discard a physical, get rid of this. Okay. So we have 8 cards pinned down. Luckily, we've set up our Captain Marvel thing. We can't do side-by-side because it's a hero mode. So Captain Marvel... Actually, let's draw 1 more card with Captain Marvel. We lose out playing this card in hero mode, so we lose 1 stat. But we can put this on Captain Marvel to make her go again. And when she goes again, we have a chance of getting a mental to get rid of this, which I think we'd appreciate. So I'll get rid of Cut Upper. And I'll attach my Sky Cycle to Captain Marvel. I'm going to put it to the side because we have to exhaust it separately. And I'm going to exhaust it to ready her. And then she's going to attack for 2 into the toughness. Drawing a card. Give us a mental. Nailed it. Sick. All right, so that worked out. I don't think we're going to be playing Beast here. So I'm just going to pitch Beast to get rid of Stolen Memories. And then these 8 cards, we enter our discard pile in our choice of order. So we lost. Second Finesse is a bummer. 1 Contaminant Immunity. The Tic-Tac-Toe, that's our big healing card. Sucks to miss that. Losing a Suit Up is good for us, and I don't care about Venom Blast. Okay, we're unobligated. We'll flip up, and let's go. So, we're just going to play a couple cards here. I think we want to play Pheromones for sure. I think we can hold on to the side-by-side, and we'll try and play Inconspicuous. So we'll generate 1, 2, Superpower. We'll just play Pheromones. Stun and confuse an enemy. We'll do who we think we're going to do. There's a chance we could have played side by side to draw another card. We could have committed that first. We just played a blue card, so our stats are 2. I think we'll just keep it simple. I'll get rid of the side by side and play it inconspicuous. I think this inspired is worth a bit more. Maybe that was wrong. We should have played that first to draw another card. I could see that being right. Oh wait, no, this doesn't do anything. We legally can't play it. So I guess we won't. So I'll just play inconspicuous and I'll attach an inspired to Captain Marvel. There might have been better sequencing there, but we prioritized getting rid of the obligation. So now she has 3 attack, 3 thwart, and draws cards, and we should have healing as much as we lost a bunch of it. We'll just attack for 2 into Kang, and we'll hold on to the side by side for next turn, which again, we want to keep Captain Marvel slightly healthy to be able to play that. We'll pass. Drawing up. Stick-to-itiveness. So that's a cheap ready, which is nice if we buff our stats. Contaminant immunity, we're probably not going to play this. This gives us +3 health and a toughness, which we're going to be at full health. Oh, not you. Not containment, contaminant. Can't spell that word. Energy and Nick. So at least we can dump this hand into Nick and get a different hand. We will be decking out because we only have 3 cards left. This goes to 1. Kang the Conqueror, more like Kang the Stunned. And we draw, oh, now we draw into gang up. But of course. So the villain and each minion engaged with you activates. We should have seen this coming. We knew what this was. That means Kang is going to activate against us. He's going to hit hard. So I'm going to put a threat here because he's attacking for 3. And with future weapon, it's going to be for 5 with overkill, and this will stun us. So when Kang attacks, the attacking is overkill, and if this damages a hero, that hero is stunned. So we're just going to take 5 to the face. 5 boost on Death Hunt. Again, we're playing with some of these cards from a set I'm not too experienced with. So give the enemy a tough stats card and another boost card. Okay, that's fine. So 5, 6, 7. Glad to get out of exhaustion territory. So we're going to take 7, which is a lot. I'm not going to pretend it's not, and we're going to get stunned on the way down. All right, that was Kang. Good job, Kang. Our turn starts. We can do healing factor, and we'll just exhaust this to recover 2. Okay, it's us. So now contaminant immunity makes some sense. Hey, Mousbeer, how's it going? Happy New Year. We can probably want to attack first with Captain Marvel. The issue is we waste her 3 attack, so she probably thwarts here. Our question is, I think we do still play Nick Fury and probably contaminant immunity. If we use Captain Marvel here, I guess we're kind of need to use side by side, because this is the issue is when she's on 1 health, she's kind of in a bad spot until we jump down. We actually probably could just jump down here, let's be honest. So maybe we just do a mass draw turn, get through her deck and jump down while he's confused. Oh, this is discarded, of course. Yeah, I think side by side will be fine here. Hey, Matthew, how's it going? Huge. Yeah, it was a huge hit. I think stick-to-itiveness is not that important to set up with, but it's nice to take it out of our deck. So all we have is left is events and allies and resources. This is not a great Nick turn, I'll be honest, because Nick is only really good on the turns that Nick blocks, and Kang, if we're jumping down to Alter Ego, is going to be confused. So we either can hold on to Nick or just not play Nick. I'd be fine with both of those. So maybe what we want to do is if we do Contaminant, we're at 9, we can still recover 2. So I think we'll just start here by drawing cards. We'll use Captain Marvel. She'll thwart for 3. Drawing a card. Of course, this is what she does. We have a self-propelled glide. That's nice. This just readies us, which means we can get rid of the kind of for free. Kind of for free? Yeah, I think that's what we do. So we'll attack for 1, gets rid of the stun. And now here, I think we'll just do Finesse and Deft Focus. Actually, I don't think we can use Deft Focus. Finesse and Nick side by side. It's rare that I don't use Nick, but we're going to do this. Ready your Sidekick, that's a cost. So then we can ready our hero, and then we'll choose to heal 1 from each of us. So we'll recover 1, and then Captain Marvel will recover 1. We played a blue card. I think we take the toughness off here, and then we can still ready ourselves with Deft Focus. So that's fine. So we will just attack for 1 to take the toughness off, technically for 2. Captain Marvel will attack for 3. Drawing a card. It's a genius. We're flying. We're literally flying. Too many good cards. Stick to it as an instant play for me. I think we will get to it, but I'm not like super stoked about it. We can still sky cycle and Alter Ego, but we're going to do so much forward stuff here. So I think, yeah, we'll play it. We'll do energy and to stick to itness. We played a pink card. So really good thing about this is we can use finesse to pay for this. This spends a physical to ready us. A lot better than the core set one. Then I think we'll just dump our whole hand. We'll do Death Focus. Generate for a superpower. Luckily, Self-Propelled Glide is a superpower. So we can just ready ourselves. Not an aspect card. Then we'll do Genius for Contaminant Immunity. So that gives us a toughness. A green card and +3 health. Like these turns are absurd. We started on 4 health, I think, that turn. We're going to attack now for 4 into Kang. Cool. Oh, no, but then we can't recover. I mean, that's fine. We don't need to recover this turn because the one card we're drawing from Captain Marvel, we know what this is. That's not super important to draw. So I think we're just going to end our turn jumping down. And then we'll just use our ability to look at the top of the deck. 3 boost. Okay. That's big. Oh, that's not a boost card. That's a card we're going to draw. Let alone it's going to be our card we're going to draw because we're going to deck out. All right. That's it. We're still at 10 health, so we can recover. Mind you, healing factor doesn't care what side you're on, but it's not forced. So we won't use it so that we can recover Captain Marvel. If we draw into our tic-tac-toe, we won't, because ideally we're tic-tac-toeing, not sidekicking. But we're going to draw this 1 card, so we have this waiting, and then we'll shuffle this and draw 5 more. Spider-Man plays so smoothly. Yeah, you play enough like cheap cards. It feels so good. Let alone Pheromones is just messed up. You have so many cards that cancel like entire villain activations, let alone Contaminant Immunity. And then Captain Marvel with all this like nonsense attached to her is even just so much more smooth. But that was an absurd output for a single turn. If we find our second finesse, we will play it. It is definitely worth playing. Because we draw so many cards. All right, so we know that we're having the last side-by-side. Nice. The Contaminant, not very useful. Beast is good, because if we're at full health, we can go get one of our 3-cost resources. Mind you, Beast just gets a resource from your deck or discard pile. Self-Propelled Glide is good. It looks like we're playing a blue at a minimum. Venom Blast, we'll play Venom Blast. Notably, when you defeat Kang, you just kind of sit there idling. It doesn't really matter. You want to clear all side schemes before you advance. And then we have the Blackout, which is the threat one. We'll get that out of their deck. So we'll play blue and red and maybe pink. Or I think maybe red is more accurate. Let's go to 1. Kang is confused. We draw 2 encounter cards. One of them we've already taken a peek at. It's the Anachronauts. The titular scheme. When defeated, shuffle each temporal card in the counter deck into the discard pile. Yesterday, I drew this like pretty late on, and then the deck became only temporal cards for a moment. We have seen only 2, 3, 4. Actually, we've seen 4 temporal cards, so it doesn't really matter in the context that the deck is still like 40 cards or something, but that's cool as a hazard. When you advance Kang, for every side scheme in play, you take an acceleration, so you do need to clear the side schemes. Stolen Memories. Once again, I swear to God, if this thing steals our healing card, our pool healing card, I'm gonna be pretty upset. Top 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hoping for the best. This is also a really good turn to draw into what's it called? War, because we can see the top of the deck. Decided to play some pool for the new year? Yeah, kind of. I wanted to play Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. She was on the docket of things to play, and pool like makes a lot of sense in her deck. Managed to find Drax and Gamora this past week, playing through Mad Titan Shadow with Drax. He's kind of ridiculous once he gets going. Just beat Thanos. Oh, whoa. I think I don't know if I've done that matchup. I probably have. I like Drax a lot. When Drax spins up, he's like really, really going. But I don't enjoy playing against Thanos a lot, let alone Loki. I don't know why. I think it's like there just isn't enough changes. Like the thing you're doing on turn 1 is exactly the thing you're doing on turn like 15. And I think that gets me. Shout out to Kang, which like it does shift every once in a while, but yeah, it's really neat. Pool is way more interesting in an aspect when it's mixed with deck building rules like Spider-Woman. I agree. I'm not huge into the pool cards. I don't think I'm huge into the Dread pool idea either, because the games where it shows up, it's like just a slog, and the games where it doesn't show up, it's like you get free value for nothing. All right, we're not going to use healing factor because we're going to want to recover. We have a cheap ready, which is nice. It's a free ready. If we want to do with Stolen Memories, we should get rid of it now for a mental. Our hand has Self-Propelled Glide and Beast as the mental. I think this might not be a turn that we play Beast. That's this shame that we've thrown up, Beast twice. But I don't think this is a hand that uses a resource very well. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to use Beast to get rid of Stolen Memories, and we'll see what 8 cards we've discarded. The one card we really care about is the Tic-Tac-Toe card. And we have thrown out the second Finesse, Bummer. Self-preservation, propel glide, suit up, rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Self-confidence, inconspicuous, and a pheromones. So kind of impactful. Not the worst, but our healing card is still in there, which is good. Okay, we're going to recover for 3 using our basic, which means Sidekick kicks in. Pun intended. We'll heal 2 on Captain Marvel. Great. Good. And now we can just use Captain Marvel to clear the table and literally do everything. So we're going to use Captain Marvel. She's going to thwart 3, which is why we boost her stats. She clears the Anachronauts, so we have to do some shuffling. So we shuffle every temporal card. So actually, let's do this in the other order so that we don't shuffle the stolen memories back in. Mind you, we have a draw pending. So we're going to defeat this first. So we'll shuffle back in Death Hunt. I'm not actually sure this is the worst card, but let's just say we don't want to see it again. 2, 3, 4, just because we want to see different cards. So we'll shuffle 4 cards in. 2 of them are minions. I like that. Minions are fine. We haven't seen the bad Anachronaut that forces us to discard a minion or an upgrade. We really need to have an ally or a support. We really need to have an extra ally on the table to protect Captain Marvel. And we drew in Contaminant Immunity. Okay. Now, before we hop up, we can consider looking at the top of the deck. I think that's mostly it. We want to be playing all our aspect cards in hero mode so our stats go up, but our stats are not going to really matter this turn. Pulling Adam Warlock is weird and fun, some chaos magic. The bummer with Adam Warlock is that Adam Warlock's hero text actually like mentions aspects by name. So the cards that you play have no synergy with his kit whatsoever. And that's a bummer. I know somebody did this really cool set of cards they post on Reddit called the Retcon set, which are like relatively minimalist, which I appreciate, but like single card permanent setup solutions to really buff up or make more interesting cards that came out at earlier points in time. And one of them was giving Adam Warlock text whenever you discard a pool card, which I'm for that. All right, we'll flip up. First, actually, let's just look at the top card of this deck. It's an advance. That's a 0 boost, so that's good. Okay, we're in hero mode, so now we'll start playing some cards. I think we want to start with a side-by-side before she goes. It doesn't really matter, does it? Not really, but I think we do it. So we'll do Finesse. We're not going to need the Venom Blast this turn. We're definitely not going to need the Contaminant Immunity this turn. So we'll do side-by-side. So this is probably the healing angle. We could go for +1 stats, but all we have to do here is 6 damage. So we'll ready Captain Marvel, heal her, ready ourselves, heal us, which doesn't do anything. Then Captain Marvel will attack again for 3 into the villain, drawing a card. It's a Jessica Drew's apartment, slightly too late. Okay. So all I have to do is 1 more attack with Captain Marvel. So I don't know if we're going to be drawing more cards this turn. I think we're just going to be playing enough cards. We'll play Blackout. It's a nice little resource sink. In theory, this is where like you might not have wanted to use Finesse because having flexibility on Blackout is more important. We played a pink card and a blue card. So I think we're just not going to overthink it. We're just going to set up a bit. So we're going to attack for 3 into Kang. That defeats Kang, but Kang's text won't come in. Should he not be at 11? Yeah, how did we get to 13? I think I was at 10 and I hit recover 3. Yeah, good catch, Nikos. We definitely should be at 11. There's no way to get to 13. Thank you. Very good catch. How are you doing, by the way? Yes, but Kang's at 0. But Kang says at the advance the main scheme at the end of this phase. So after we draw back up to hand size. So now all we're playing is setup cards or whatever we want to keep for next turn. So I'll pitch the self-propelled glide for Jessica Drew's apartment. This card we can exhaust an alter ego to hopefully draw a card. And then we're not going to use Captain Marvel. I know we have the Sky Cycle, but we don't need to draw more cards. And in theory, I'm not going to pitch a self-propelled glide. I'm going to pitch the Contaminant because I'm going to now use the Venom Blast for Blackout. Which the way that this works, it says spend 1 resource of any type. So we spend an energy. And then you move 1 threat from this to there. I'm going to mark it with these Res Arcana tokens. Hopefully you can see them on the camera. So I'll do yellow on yellow, red on red, blue on blue. And once this is filled, we discard this and we confuse the villain. I can't play the self-propelled glide, but I think this card's better for us to keep in our hand next turn than Contaminant Immunity. So we also could just discard it to draw deeper into our deck to find our healing factor thing, or not healing factor, but our tic-tac-toe. And I think that's what we probably do. And I think we'll just pass. We had no physical to ready ourselves, but there's literally no reason to ready ourselves, so we'll pass. Cool. This card doesn't exhaust. Kind of wild. Let's draw up. Nick, he's back. We'd probably play him this time around. Another side-by-side, perfectly smooth energy, Venom Blast, and then a self-propelled. Okay, so hopefully Nick finds something good here. So we have to advance Kang, and specifically we advance the scheme. So advance to stage 2. This is where we are, the Master of Time. So when revealed, place 1 acceleration token here. That's a scary sentence. Then you read the rest of it. For each side scheme in play. Nailed it. Then discard each side scheme in play. Great. Each player reveals a random stage 3A in turn order. Remove any unused stage 3 schemes from the game. So there are 4 stage 3s. Each one corresponds to a different timeline where we have to fight a different Kang. I don't know if there's one more difficult than the other. The one that we want to avoid is the one with Retaliate, because we want to attack a lot with Captain Marvel, and Retaliate scales pretty poorly into allies, it turns out. So we're just going to shuffle these and then roll a die. We're going to have 1 on left. I don't know which one's the bad one. 2. So we'll take the Inexorable Fate. Very Arkham Horror coded. And then we have to reveal this one before we continue flipping this over. So Inexorable Fate. Inexorable, I think. Inexorable? When revealed, create your own game and place the scheme in it. And deal yourself an encounter card. Oh, we're dealing ourselves in advance. Bummer. Okay. Flip this over. Inexorable Fate. Inexorable Fate. Add Kang Iron Lad. That seems like important text. Let's go find him. We got the bad one? Come on. For those who know the names of the different Kangs, yeah, we got the bad one. This is Expert Iron Lad Kang. Unfortunately, this is the one that has Retaliate. So Retaliate 1 in toughness. That's going to suck. Captain Marvel is just going to take a lot more damage than we want. It was a 1 in 4 we whiffed. Good stuff, Andre. So 22 health. There's a lot of damage you have to do in this set. When defeated, remove Inexorable Fate from the game. Okay, so hold on. I just need to set the villain so I don't have to always search up Iron Lad to Expert over and over again. Okay, we're good. All right, so this flips over. These usually don't have text that actually matters. So the Inexorable Fate here. Man, that's so bad. This thing says force response after the stage is completed. Place 1 set aside Kang's dominion face down into play. At the end of the phase, remove Kang and the stage from the game and combine your game with area with another game. So basically, this is a timeline which, if it fails, there's consequences back in the main timeline. This is if you're playing multiplayer, everyone splits out into their own game, which is kind of cool, and they have to face their own Kang, and you can't really help each other. This is the first like mega scenario they've ever made, and I think it actually is pretty good. Comes in with 1. It's really neat to see 1 there, not per player, because you're meant to be on your own. And if all players of the stage are defeated, the stage is completed. So then you just advance onwards. You don't lose the game. Now, if you flip this on to the Master of Time, this just gives you a reminder, kind of like rules text of what's meant to happen. So it says when acceleration token would be placed on another scheme, place it here instead. So it collects all of them. And players cannot join this game area, which is the main timeline, unless there are no other game areas remaining. And when all players have joined this area, advance to stage 4A. So that's where we're at right now. So we have some work to do. Kang schemes for 2, and we're going to scheme immediately. And attacks for 3 and has Retaliate, which that really does suck. All right, this goes to 2. Because now we do the villain phase. Kang attacks for 3 in a card. We're just going to take it because we're tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll lose a toughness. Draw 2 encounter cards. We know the first to be a scheme. So we could theory lose here. It's advance. So scheming for 2 in a card. 1, 2. Boost on this is take 1 damage, give the enemy another boost card. Oh man, these would be really, really bad to play in Claw. I've no doubt someone's done that. So we take a damage. That's okay. We could heal that. But then the second boost card is 1. Caught off guard. So this goes up to 5. 8, 9. Yeah, so we draw another scheme here. We might be cooked. And instead we draw Weakened. Okay, cool. So we have to consider jumping down to Alter Ego. I'm not sure if we have access to Confuse in our hand right now, but it says after you use a basic hero power, take a damage and discard a physical as an alter ego to get rid of this. Okay, that's it. Not the worst. Here, this is where like you can decide not to do healing factor. We would decide not to do healing factor if we're going to jump down and want to recover, which like maybe with the self-propelled glide, we want to do that because if you're at full health, you cannot recover. That's like the one weird wrinkle about this deck is you have to like somewhat take damage. Oh, this coffee is like not warm at all anymore. I don't know why I'm surprised. Okay. So we can use Captain Marvel at least twice here to clear the main scheme, and we could jump down with 1 advance out. I'm not sure how many encounter cards just say like King schemes, the way that a lot of villains have that sort of shtick. The Venom Blast, I don't really care about. The self-propelled glide is fine, but we already have a physical ready on the table. So maybe we definitely start with Captain Marvel and see what happens. So the captain, she's going to thwart for 3. Draws a card. We're going to choose not to heal. We draw Bob, Agent of Hydra. Not my favorite to play on a turn that we're jumping down because the acceleration is going to maybe catch up with us. So that's fine. So if that's the case, we need to play Nick Fury now. The problem with jumping down with Nick Fury is that Nick Fury doesn't block, so he's less good. I'm realizing this is the most I've never like snap played Nick Fury in a game on stream so far, but I think we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 for Nick Fury and draw a bit here. Maybe we'll lose him on the block, which maybe we'll stay one more turn. I'm just like not happy with Captain Marvel at 1. The best thing we could draw here is tic-tac-toe so we can get some healing going. So we'll play Nick. We'll just draw 3 cards, which is what we usually do. Self-control, that is only worth 2 resources because we took damage. Dog pull, acceleration, kind of scary if we want to jump down. And a cut upper. Cut upper is okay. The toughness is there, but cut upper is okay. 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 We have no healing besides side by side. So maybe we do double for side by side. Yeah, I think we do double for side by side. We can always like ready ourselves again. So we have to do something. So we will attack for 1 to take the toughness off. And we unfortunately take 2 damage. 1 from the retaliate and 1 from this weaken thing, which says whenever we do a basic hero thing, we take a damage. So we'll go down to 8. Then we'll spend a double for side by side. So we played a blue card. So heal and damage from both characters. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to ready us and Captain Marvel. No, so she doesn't get knocked out by the, what's called, by the retaliate. She's going to thwart 3 off of this, drawing a card. A suit up. Okay, interesting. I think we're going to stay up 1 turn and then jump down next turn is my guess. If that's the case, we could play Dogpool here. If we jump down, we lose Nick, which is like kind of unfortunate. It's not the end of the world though. In terms of pheromones we've seen, I think we've decked out 1 that was grabbed by the lose 8 cards thing, right? Oh no, every pheromones is still in our deck. No, there's 1. Okay. If we jump down, we also have access to our apartment. So maybe all we do here is cut upper. And then we could hop down and recover. I think that's fine. So we'll spend 3. Sorry, actually. We'll we can finesse on this, that's useless. We can finesse to ready ourselves. That's like not super impactful. I guess actually it is slightly impactful. So we'll spend 3 on cut upper, playing a pink card. So we'll do 5 damage to Kang. Stuns Kang. We take retaliate 1. Okay. Then we will attack for 3 to the villain. That's our stats. We'll attack for 2 with Nick Fury. Takes 2. That's that. We have to take 1 retaliate. I don't think we did yet. I hit R1, which was recover 1. That happened. No, so we have to take retaliate 1. Okay. Then we'll spend finesse, which this is the cool interaction, so that we can ready ourselves with stick-to-itiveness. Again, almost all these pink cards are only hero mode, so we'll ready ourselves. We'll hop down. Here we can look at the top card of their deck. First, we'll do Jessica Drews. We're looking like for a physical. You take 2 per attack. Only if it's a basic. So you're right. I should have taken 1 more because of the retaliate. I was meant to take the retaliate on the cut upper, and then if I attack, I'm meant to take 2. So I'm going to take 1 more. Let me just double check if I did or did not do. That was recover 2, not retaliate 2. Hold on. So I should take 2. Did I mess this up? So the villain took 5. I recovered 1, so I wasn't meant to do that. I was meant to take 2 more. I hit R1 for retaliate 1, which is the text for recover 1. That's not right. So that's that. Then the villain took 3, and we took 2. I think this is right. I think we're meant to be down at 5. I did recover 1s, but then I took 2 downwards. So I think that's right. We might be over by 1. Good catch, though. Saying retaliate, then I hit R1, which does recover 1 on my keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to use Jessica Drew's apartment. So I'm going to look at 5 cards of the deck, which is most of the deck. And we're looking for a physical here to get rid of weakened. So we have inconspicuous and pheromones. I don't think we trade our pheromones to get rid of weakened. I think I'd rather draw the pheromones. We're going to deck out no matter what. So that's not going to change anything. It's pretty dodgy to deck out here in Alter Ego. We're going to be drawing it to tic-tac-toe, which is nice. So I think we just do the pheromones because we're going to deck out anyways. We might draw it again. I'm not going to shuffle. I guess in theory, we should first look at the top card of this deck. It's a 1 boost, so that's not that bad. So we'll use this in our hand, and then we'll discard this to get a weaken, which requires us an Alter Ego discard a physical. And I'm not going to shuffle this because we're going to draw everything. We'll recover for 3, and then Captain Marvel recovers for 2. Okay. A bit of a mess of a turn. I need to watch out for the double retaliate functionally, and then we'll pass. Okay, we're going to deck out. We're drawing into Maria, Inconspicuous, 2 resources, and a Tic-Tac-Toe. The Tic-Tac-Toe is the best healing card. It's such a bummer it took us this long to get through it. Basically 2 cycles over the deck. But that means we can keep Captain Marvel around, honestly, nearly infinitely. If you want to put more leadership cards into this deck, I think you can. And like probably you should attach Power Gloves to Captain Marvel and make her even bigger because she is just that good. You can give her more health also with like a suit or even a support works. I found 5 health to be more than enough with the amount of healing you have. But the only problem with this deck is if you want to add more leadership cards, you have to equally add more pool cards. And I don't even know if there's more pool cards we want to add, but then you go over 40 deck size, which feels pretty bad for a somewhat combo deck. All right. That's that. We get an encounter card. Oh, it's no longer the boost card. We keep doing that. That's fine. That's a classic Marvel Champions thing. This goes to 1. The villain schemes for 2 and a card. Boost here is exhaust a character you control, give the enemy another boost card. Okay, so luckily we found Apocryphus, which is the one that really ruins us if we draw this because it forces us to discard an ally or support. So it says exhaust a character. Luckily we can exhaust Nick and then another boost card. 2. So Kang schemes for 4. Okay, that's fine. We draw 2 encounter cards. One of them is this one, which I think is a obligation. Nope. Energy Blast. There's only 1 card with this name. Alter Ego, discard an ally or support you control if you cannot discard gain Surge. Luckily, Nick is doing double duty this round. So we talked about Nick not being valuable, but that was perfect. Time Travel Tactics. Surge. When revealed, each player takes 1 indirect damage for each obligation in play. Luckily, we've been keeping those clean. Rampage. Rawr. When defeated, we discard until we find a minion and put that minion into play with for whoever defeats this. Acceleration and 4. So not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why do we only have 5 cards in hand? Did we just not draw? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're meant to have another card. Suit Up. Okay. Suit Up is playable. You can technically Suit Up to get Nick Fury back. The problem is we have no more upgrades. That's another thing with Suit Up is that if you play Suit Ups, you probably should have enough upgrades to never play this and not get an upgrade. But our deck only has 3 upgrades and they're all on the table. So Suit Up now is pay 2 to draw 1, which is less good unless you really need the ally. Okay, that's back. Let's get some coffee and we're off. All right, I will use Healing Factor because we might as well. We'll recover 2. We can still recover if we really wanted to, but we're up at 10. Kang is on 12, so we've done enough damage so far. We've done 10 damage. Wow, okay. Maria Hill is really playable. Maria Hill and Captain Marvel can get rid of Inexorable Fate. Tic-Tac-Toe is phenomenal. Most of these cards we're going to be playing in Alter Ego. So I think the only thing we want to do here first is Jessica Drews. Actually, it doesn't really matter the order of Captain Marvel and Jessica Drews, I guess. Unless we find Tic-Tac-Toe. So I guess we'll use Jessica Drews' apartment first. So this looks at the top 5, and we can draw an aspect card. All right, let's go over rock, paper, scissors. It's the most fun. So we're going to grab rock, paper, scissors. It's a metagame card. It's our last metagame card. And this now says we can use our ability, so we have to watch out for the timing of Captain Marvel, to exhaust this card, then pick a card in our hand. We don't discard it. Then you discard the top card of the deck. And if your card beats the card discarded, you add the discarded card to your hand. Really cool card. We haven't seen the Deadpool card yet, so that might be sneaking up on us. Okay, we're going to use Captain Marvel first before we do any of the discard stuff. So we're going to thwart for 3. This goes down to 2. We draw a card with Captain Marvel. It's an Inconspicuous. That seems pretty good, actually, as much as we had 2. So we already have 8 cards in hand. We're just going to use our Alter Ego ability to peek at the top of the deck. So we can know what the top of our deck is so we can rock, paper, scissors correctly. It's a physical, so we're going to need to show, I think, an energy? No, a mental to draw it. Cool. Our deck has very few wilds. This is like the only wild in our deck besides Captain Marvel and Sidekick. Okay, now we're going to flip up. And now in hero mode, we want to play all our aspect cards. I think to keep things simple, we're going to just... What card do we not need? We'll pitch Sidekick. And we'll play rock, paper, scissors. So we've played a pool card. A lot of our pool cards are upgrades, so you will play fewer and fewer of them as you cycle through your deck. With this one, we do exhaust. And I'm going to say, I don't know, mental. So we'll reveal Tic-Tac-Toe. We discard the top card of our deck. Is it the physical? We draw into our hand. And that's a really nice way to use your Alter Ego text in a more reasonable way. Okay, I guess we just get Maria Hill on the table. we probably should be a bit more discerning about what type of resources we're using, because we technically can now use every kind of resource here. So sorry, not you. Maria Hill Leadership draws a card. How many cards have we drawn so far this turn? And we're not anywhere near done. When Maria Hill enters play, every character draws a card. All right, we're now going to do Sky Cycle to ready Captain Marvel. And then Captain Marvel is going to thwart for 3 off of Rampage, drawing a card. The Contaminant Immunity. Okay, we're still cooking. Oh, we played a leadership card. This is getting goofy. I'm gonna play tic-tac-toe up here. We've already played one of these, but now we can move damage off of Captain Marvel, which is any extra resources we'll just spend on that. We could play a beast here, but we actually really want to play green and yellow. So I'm going to play one inconspicuous for the second inconspicuous. This will get us a minion into play, which maybe we should have scheduled this in a different way. So remove a total of 3 threat. We played a yellow card. So now we're at 4 stats. That's really nice. But Rampage now will kick in, which says discard cards on the top of the deck, put a minion into play. So luckily none of the Anachronauts' when revealed text will fire here, because put into play is not reveal. So let's discard some cards. Wild Run. Cool. I don't know this one. When revealed, discard a random card from your hand. Luckily, we don't have to do that. 5 health. So we have 4 attack here. We can get our attack up to 5, which is really quite nice. So I think we just will. We're going to use Deft Focus, and I'm going to throw out Beast for Contaminant Immunity. This is a bit of a bummer. In theory, it's actually better that we don't do that. Hold on. We do it in the other order. I think it's better here that we just attack Kang for 4. So Kang takes 4 here because we're going to heal up the Retaliate. So we'll do 4 to Kang. Exhausts us. Cool. Then we'll do Def Focus. I don't think we're using a superpower. So we'll do Def Focus and I guess Beast for Contaminant. So now we heal 3. So we're up at full. We're meant to take a Retaliate. Apologies. I didn't, but it doesn't matter. We heal. So we'll heal 3, get a toughness. We've played a green card. We can use Finesse to generate a wild for stick-to-itiveness. So now we're ready, and we have 5 attack. This is absurd. This is straight absurd. Okay. We're going to go attack for 5 into Wild Run. Retaliate, yeah, we're going to heal. I did forget, but we're going to heal immediately, so it's okay. Maria Hill's not going to do anything. She'll be our panic block if we need to. And then we're just going to dump these cards into tic-tac-toe. Unfortunately, we only kept physicals, which we probably shouldn't have done because it's not great. But with tic-tac-toe now, we're going to spend a physical. We're going to spend a physical. For every physical spent, we're going to heal from a damage from a character. So we're going to heal 1 from Captain Marvel and 1 from Captain Marvel, and we'll set up our bottom line here. This engine is super fun. It's so good. It's so smooth, and everything cascades into something else. I don't know if you've ever played Unstoppable. It's a game that came out last year, but it reminds me of this, where like everything you do unlocks something else, which you do something else, which unlocks something else, and you keep going forward. For Beast just hadn't been played today. We haven't drawn him in any hand that actually used the resource really well, but Beast is really fine in my test game so far. Maybe we should reconsider Beast and play something cheaper. I could see that. Ant-Man is another like fine leadership card, I think, in this deck, because it's very cheap. Like you can play Ant-Man for 1, and it's like a cheap leadership card. Our deck doesn't struggle with playing leadership cards, at least in the first couple cycles, because we have all these upgrades. And now Captain Marvel will be healed infinitely. So we're probably going to just fly through to the end. That's an aerial pun. We have 5 stats, toughness. Okay, let's draw 5. Finesse, nice. Love the second one. Contaminant, side by side is perfect. Pheromones is perfect. Self-preservation will be perfect. This card's hand's really good. Hey Matthew, how's it going? I found your content like a week ago and enjoy it very much. Fun to see SW in Leaderpool, Spider-Woman in Leaderpool. I saw you said you played MC on Stream Deck. How'd you do that? Matthew, did I respond to your comments? I think somebody asked me a comment twice and I missed it. But how do I play it on Steam Deck? There's 2 ways. First way, Tabletop Simulator. You can find like Hitch's complete mod. That's been pretty good. You should, I don't know if there's people have published their like remapping of controls, but I did a fair bit of remapping of my Steam Deck controls. That was me. Okay, I responded to one of your comments. If you can find it, I wrote a big thing. So if you can find that, it'll be a bit more eloquent than this right now, maybe. But basically, if you have Tabletop Simulator, which is usually around $20 if you buy it, you can find Hitch's Workshop mod, which has especially a lot of custom content as well for this game. And then the controls are okay, but you can modify them to make them a bit better. Like use the back pedals for like flipping cards and doing stuff like that. The other way is if you boot into Linux, just go onto dragoncards.com, which, oh my God, I played a lot of Dragon Cards over the holiday this year. It's really good. The Dragon Cards touch mode, I couldn't make it make sense. But if you play Dragon Cards, you just have to learn the user interface. It works the best with a keyboard mouse. So I would recommend plugging in a keyboard and a mouse and just playing like you're on a computer. And that's been really good for me. I played a lot of Dragon Cards over the holiday. Shout out to Dragon Cards. Kind of sick. Yeah, that's the way that I do it. I haven't booted up TTS on my Steam Deck in a while, but I did that classically. Villain stunned. Poor guy. One counter card. Manipulated time stream. Oh man, I hate this card. Discard each event in your hand? No, you piece of work. No events were discarded. This card gains surge. That is such a good encounter card. Holy crap, how much we lost there. We lost Pheromones side by side. Yikes. And like, we'll probably still be okay because Captain Marvel can heal forever, but like, absurd. Really, really absurd. All right, our stats reset. Will I use this toughness to attack Kang? Yeah, we're defeating Kang this turn. We don't have to care about retaliate. Okay. Does anybody want to take a guess on rock, paper, scissors? Take your best guess on rock, paper, scissors. You either have to choose mental or energy. We could look through the deck and do the math, but we have mental and energy in our hand. What do y'all want to do? Because we have to name a type here of the two in our hand, and then we maybe draw a card. In theory, we could do this after we draw cards with Captain Marvel, but I don't think it matters. Rip broken cards, I know. You said this is the hard Kang variant and you're smacking him around. Yeah, this deck is really good. Like Pool is really good. Captain Marvel's really good. We have a lot of like stun and confuse, and a lot of the early scenarios in the game, they don't have stalwart. So like solo play stun and confuse goes pretty hard. But yeah, no, I think this deck is actually really quite good. We've drawn into some bad boosts, but not the worst. I guess you name energy and draw mental. I'm cool with that. All right, let's say energy. So we're going to show self-preservation. We're going to discard an energy. Okay. So unfortunately, we could not draw this card because we didn't have any physicals in our hand. So we could have used Captain Marvel first if we wanted to. Speaking of Captain Marvel, she will attack for 3 into the villain. She does take retaliate, which hurts a bit, but we'll draw a card. It's a self-propelled. If we drew this, actually, that's kind of good. Okay, we have to do 5 damage. Kind of doable. Because we have like nearly infinite healing. We need to get our numbers up, but we have no aspect cards because of the bad thing that just happened. So I think we're just going to chill for one more turn here and just like take the toughness. Yeah, I think we're not doing anything here. So self-preservation to generate the second finesse. And the way that you can use this is really compelling because now we can do this. We can do finesse to generate a mental. Heals Captain Marvel. I'll use finesse to generate an energy. Heals Captain Marvel. We could play this for free. I think our toughness is worth a bit more than what this is, as much as it doesn't really matter. So we could just use this mental on Blackout to steal this threat away. We could also continue to heal Captain Marvel. I think we'll just continue to heal Captain Marvel. This one threat probably won't matter. So we'll heal Captain Marvel once more. So now we need an energy, which with finesses should be fine. And this will do 7 damage, which if we had one more resource here, we could have done. So if we attack with Captain Marvel and get an energy, in theory, we could have used the finesses later. We might have been able to advance Kang this turn. Yeah, maybe that's a misplay. I think we could have done better this turn. I don't want to ready. Attacking for 1. It's not very good to lose a toughness to do 1 damage, so I'll just pass. Wow, look at Captain Marvel and how she doesn't die. She's going to die this turn. Self-propelled glide, energy. Venom Blast is kind of all we need. This will have another thing when we defeat Kang. We have to wait for the end of the phase. Dog Pool. Pheromones is great. The thing I learned playing this on stream is if you stun and confuse Kang Iron Lad and it advances to Kang 3, that is a different title of the villain. So the stun and confuse doesn't stay. So it's an awkward time to draw Pheromones, unfortunately. This goes to 2. We could have thwarted with Maria Hill, but I think we'll be fine. Kang attacks for 3 in a card. Boost off this. We're drawing all these minions as boost cards. Oh no, my tic-tac-toe. It's Terminatrix. What a good name. This give the enemy 2 more boost cards. This card is mega messed up. Like drawing an advance into Terminatrix, getting +6, you can just lose on the spot on turn 1. That's a ridiculous boost card. 3, 4, 5, nice master plan. Assault, we take 5 damage to our toughness, we don't care. Terminatrix, that's absurd. Under fire, okay, never mind. We're gonna draw a lot of cards. So reveal the top 2. So it replaces itself with 1 more card. It feels worse than it is. Past machinations. Insight 1. When revealed, each player searches the counter deck and discard pile for a different obligation and reveals it. Okay. If we do the one that grabs 8 cards, we deck out and get another encounter card. I don't want that. So let's just do the one that gives us 1 damage whenever we do a thing, because that doesn't seem to be super important. Weakened. Is the rule for obligations that you just put them underneath your play if they don't say put them in play? So this says, after you use a basic hero power, take a damage. Fine. I cut my nails right before this, so picking up cards is a bit hard. And another rampage, which is fine. I don't know if we have to clear this one before we advance, but this gets another minion, which seems totally acceptable. Because now we'll actually be able to do something with all our cards in our hand. Cool. I've never seen Maria Hill played, then just saved. It doesn't speak to the strength of Spider-Woman. I don't know what does. You're right about that. I played it on a turn where I was like, she's going to do the side scheme. And then I played like Inconspicuous and cleared 2 side schemes or cleared 2 schemes. You're totally right, though. I'm going to use her before we deck out, but now it's kind of hard. Maybe I'll attack for 1. Maybe I should have thwarted last turn just so that she would hit the deck out. I think that actually was probably right to get her back into the deck because she's a leadership card that's really easy to play. Okay, so we want to clear this out. This doesn't matter because when we advance, it goes away. So all I have to do is this and maybe that. When we jump down next turn, Kang is going to activate us and it's Kang 3. I'm assuming Kang 3 has big numbers. We have no healing to do. We don't want to play pheromones. Dogpool is fine to play, so we have a blocker because we're not tough. So how do we do this? I think we're going to start with Captain Marvel to do the rampage. So we'll do 3 threat. Here, draws a card. Suit up, useless. It's a resource though, we care about those. And then we'll just use Captain Marvel to finish it off. So we've seen this before, we discard cards from the top of the deck until we find a minion. Okay, Macrobots, that was easy. These are not super intimidating. They have guard and retaliate, which if we do 4 damage hit, which Captain Marvel can't do, that's it. But that is technically something. So now we have 9 damage to do this turn. I think we can do it. The problem is we need to play a lot of aspect cards, so that's a bit tricky. So Venom Blast gets us to 2 stat. I think we can do this. Yeah, we can definitely do this. So Death Focus for superpower. I will just use Suit Up. I think energies are the most valuable in our hand. Yeah, it can be really thoughtful here because actually the resources you use are really important. Oh, before we do anything, does anybody want to call a card for rock, paper, scissors? We have a little mini game to play. At this point, our deck, it's small enough to feel good looking at it. We have physical, energy, mental, physical, mental. So use that as you will, but energy is the least. It's 2 to 1. So it's up to you to call what you want us to show here. I think we have every card possible in our hand. Yeah. So do you have a wild? Nah, we only have like 3 wilds in our deck and they're all on the table. It's Captain Marvel, Sidekick, rock, paper, scissors itself. You could put more wilds in, like Inspired is an okay card. Fist? Okay, we're doing Fist. Matthew, we're revealing Fist. So if this is energy, we draw. Wait, that was the worst choice, Matthew. I'll still believe you, but we only had 1 Fist in the deck. Unless you're calling the top deck to be a Fist, in which you nailed it. And you were allowed to retcon that, I'll never know. But yeah, we needed to get that better. We're not jumping down, so that's fine. Okay. So now we'll do Superpower, Suit Up, Venom Blast. We've played a red. We'll knock at the Macrobots because we defeated it. We don't take Retaliate. We need to get us our stats up a wee bit more. I don't think we will, though. I think that's as far as it goes. Yeah. So now we're going to attack for 2 into Kang. Kang takes 2, but also we take 2 because of Retaliate and this weekend that we've given ourselves for some reason. So we're down to 9. Kang's on 3. I'm going to Sky Cycle Captain Marvel. And then Captain Marvel is going to defeat Kang. So she will not take Retaliate, I think. I'm not actually sure how this works because you technically don't defeat him. No, you do defeat him. He's defeated. So we don't take Retaliate. Cool. So we'll do 3 damage to Kang, defeating Kang. he is technically defeated. And then we'll draw a self-propelled glide, which is next to useless. So remove inexorable fate from the game. So at the end of the next round, we'll enter the third or the fourth main scheme. But yeah, Kang is technically defeated. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Then with everything we have here, there's not much to do besides, well, literally nothing to do. We could have just used Blackout a whole bunch. I'm just going to play Dogpool. 1, 2, 3. Just Dogpool. So when defeat, deal 1 damage, toughness, retaliate, takes no consequential. So he's kind of useless on this turn, but he's a nice boy. And then I'll hold on to pheromones for next turn. Self-propelled glide, you could hold on to as well. We're going to deck out no matter what, so I'll just discard it. Yeah, we want to pop this on a turn that matters. We could do finesse to ready ourselves. Just like nothing matters here. What we should have done in theory before attacking is use finesse, and just fill this out a bit more. So I will retcon that slightly, but we can just use finesse to generate the types here that we have fewer in our deck. So I think we'll do physical mental just to keep it like balanced. Again, when we finish Blackout, we can just confuse the enemy. It's fine. But if there's no main scheme, there's no threat to take off. So we had to do that first. I think we won't jump down. I need to remember this. I forgot to grab my little reminder tokens. They're somewhere in a drawer. I'll get them on a different day. All right, we'll pass. I'll drop 1, 2, 3. Wow, only resources. Venom Blast. That's fine. We have to do like 25 damage, I think. We give ourselves an encounter card because we deck out, and then we'll shuffle this. Our deck is really thin, and that's because almost all our pool cards hit the table and stick to the table. And so everything here now is mostly events. It's like 3 self-propelled glides and all our aspect cards. First time catching a live stream. I love the way you play and show the cards zoomed in. Hey, glad you appreciate it. It's a whole bunch of effort, that's for sure. But like, I know how it is getting into a new game, if that's the case, and being able to make everything as accessible as possible is like super, super important to me. So glad's appreciated. Thank you for the kind words. All right, we owe ourselves 1 more card. Ooh, you yucky. That's bad. This is okay. It's not the end of the world because Captain Marvel will draw a lot more cards, but that's obviously not what you want. Okay, so at the end of the phase, this goes to the last stage. It's Kang's arrival. So none of the bad things happened. That's good. This is Kang's arrival. Oh, no, wrong one. Hold on, I put the 4A somewhere. I need to find it. Kang's wrath. Now he's angry. So it says, when revealed, reveal Kang 3. Okay, so Kang's back. I put him on the back of this so he doesn't go too far. He has toughness. I'll show this in a second. I think he has 25 health. Reveal each face down Kang's dominion under the stage. You would put those there for every time that you fail your like timeline. We didn't. I don't know how bad those are. I can't imagine they're that bad, but that is like the downside of failing your one-on-one. Okay, we flip this over. I think this has really fun text on the other side. Kang's Wrath. Each player searches the counter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for the Nemesis minion, puts into play, engage with them, shuffling counter deck. Sick text. Any card that goes out of the way to interact with your Nemesis side scheme, or sorry, Nemesis, is just like the coolest. So this is search set aside area for your Nemesis minion. We have the Viper, which is, she's okay. She doesn't do that much. She says when the Vipers engage with you, you get -1 hand size. That only matters when you draw up to hand size, and she won't last around. She only attacks for 2. There's certain heroes where the Nemesis is just that bad when it attacks you, but she's just literally 2 damage, so we don't care. And that's all it is. This is 10. If it ever completes, we lose. So we have narrower margins. And let me just set up Kang the Conqueror 3 as our villain. Takes me a second. Kang the Conqueror Expert 3. Okay. Toughness. Same text. When Kang attacks you, 3 scheme 3 attack is, I think, some of the biggest stats we've ever seen on a villain. When Kang attacks you, either plays 1 threat on the main scheme or he gets +2 attack for this attack. When defeated, the players win the game. Not a lot of villains have that text on it. That's good text to read. Okay, villain phase. This goes to 1 of 10. Kang now attacks. We'll give Kang +2 attack. Kang will attack for 5 because we're just going to block with our toughness friend Dogpool. Oh, sorry. Speaking of Dogpool, I know I need the reminder token +1. So 3 for 5. Advance, loses the toughness to retaliate. So does Dogpool. They trade toughnesses. The Viper is now going to attack us for 2. Has no text. We'll just take 2. We can heal it away, but we won't be at full health for the next little bit. Oh, actually, no, we could tic-tac-toe ourselves, I guess. All right. Can we do 25 damage in a single turn? It's not impossible. Hey, Death Hunt's back. We shuffled him back in and it mattered. Good for him. 6 health. Villainous toughness. We have a lot to do. Leadership does have a problem with dealing with toughness. We'll see if that's an issue. Oh, this is a cool interaction. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion and put into play engage with you. Okay, so we did that. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis side scheme and put into play. Okay, imagine drawing these naturally in the same turn. Our side scheme is like one of the sleepy ones from the first little bit of Marvel Champions that doesn't do that much. It's Viper's Ambition. It just has Hazard, Hinder 1. Cool art, but that's all it does. Cool. Then it says shuffle the rest of the set-aside Nemesis and counter set into the deck, and 2 of them are just Hydra regulars. These are all reprints. If your Nemesis minion does not enter this way, this card gains Surge. So your Nemesis doesn't activate, which is what happens in Standard 3. Reveal your set-aside, shuffle the rest. If your Nemesis, yeah, we just Surge. Very cool. I think I'm going to play against Kang with Infinity Gauntlet later today. That seems like a good fit. I think it makes Kang a lot scarier. Because right now we're not super scared of Kang. Knock on wood. Counter card, Kang's Chosen. Okay. This is a Necronauts card. So Insight 1. So huge tempo spike for the villain. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the counter deck until a temporal minion is discarded, and then you actually reveal it. You don't put it into play. So not a temporal minion. We got rid of Crisis of Infinite Deadpool, so that's good. And we reveal Macrobots, which has no text. But we did put in a lot of health worth of stuff. So our metal is going to be tested this turn a fair bit. And every time we attack or activate, we take a damage still. Okay. Big turn for us. I think we can make it make sense. Healing factor will recover 2. So we go up to 9. So we can make doubles off of our cards here. Okay. Dogpool. What are you doing, bud? Sky Cycle's ready, mind you. All right. Let's take a breath here. Things got a lot more complicated suddenly. The issue now is because Tic-Tac-Toe is at 1 left. We only have 1 health on it. When it pops, though, we can do 7 damage. So it's probably in our best interest. We take the toughness off of Death Hunt 9000. What a good name. That we Captain Marvel into, I'm assuming, the Viper. We can Venom Blast Macrobots so we don't take the Retaliate. She draws a card. We can heal 1 on her. That will knock out the Toughless Death Hunt. And then we can use her second activation to clear Viper's Ambition. Like, we're going to clear this table and still have forward momentum. And then we have a Pheromones to end it all. Like, it's going to be good. Maria Hill will attack for 1. Knocking off the toughness. At any point, if you want to name a card for rock, paper, scissors, I will just rip it. It doesn't matter at this point. We can just rip it. Captain Marvel will attack for 3 into the Viper, drawing a card. It's a strength. That's fine. Mind you, we've played nothing so far. Okay. Good. We need an energy for this. We have energies, but I think we can just use finesse. I will just use the strength from my hand to Venom Blast. So we'll do 5 damage to the Macrobots. We don't take Retaliate because they got knocked out, and we played a red card. Anybody want to name a thing? We can rip it. We can do it. I think here we'll just use finesse to generate an energy. We'll put the energy on Tic-Tac-Toe. Oh wait, we have 2 more on Tic-Tac-Toe. I forgot about that. That's sick. Okay, so we'll put this on Tic-Tac-Toe, which heals Captain Marvel. And Tic-Tac-Toe, we can do 1 more. So we have to work slightly harder at Tic-Tac-Toe. I forgot. I thought we were 1 away. We were 2 away. So if that's the case, I think we're going to Sky Cycle Captain Marvel. Fist on top of the deck, always? Okay, cool. I'll do it. So we'll just wait for you, Captain Marvel. But we'll use Captain Marvel here to thwart 3 on the Viper's Ambition. Clearing Viper's Ambition, drawing a card. It was Fist on top of the deck. Do you want to change your... You said always, so there's another Fist on top of the deck. So we'll do RPS. We're going to say Mental, because this is a Fist on top of the deck. You had it right at the time you said it. So we exhaust and we whiff. Okay. We've still only played red. So now it doesn't matter which one we use here. So I'm just going to spend this Mental. It doesn't matter on Tic-Tac-Toe. So we're going to now fill the Mental, which heals Captain Marvel. It technically fills out multiple lines, 2 lines at once, double bingo. And when that happens, we can now we have to trash this and we can do 7 damage, which will knock out Death Hunt. Cool. So that's all our healing for Captain Marvel for a bit. That should be enough to get us to the end of the game. The only other healings we have is side by sides or jumping down. You're always learning the way of the fist. Okay, we'll do deft focus because it's a superpower. Plus, I guess suit up. Physical matters. Energy doesn't matter. So we'll do. I guess we'll just do self-preservation. For pheromones. Played a blue card. Stun and confuse the villain. We'll choose the villain. Are we going to knock out the Viper? I didn't consider that. I think we're just going to attack her. We'll attack the Viper for 3. We take retaliate 1 because every time we do a basic, it's not retaliate, sorry, but every time we do a basic activation in a hero mode, we take 1 damage because of this obligation we haven't got rid of. We could consider jumping down here. I don't think we need to. These cards are useless. Yeah. So we will spend a physical to ready ourselves. We could attack for 3, take retaliate 1, function with weakened. I think we'll do this because we can spend, oh, this is 2 physicals. So this is what I mean. We goofed it up. We should have used a finesse off something else because we're left with 2 physicals here. So all we can do is spend 1 physical for blackout. Unfortunately, we can't spend 2 because this needs other things. So the way that we use finesses weren't optimal, but we'll take 1 here. Once it's hit 6, we get confused, which we're in no rush. We could hop down actually and get rid of this. That's probably fine. Yeah. We can recover for 3, which is nice for Captain Marvel too. I think that puts us on the home stretch. How risky is it? With a confuse, a single encounter card, I think it's fine. We'll jump down. We'll spend our physical on weakened to get rid of it. We can look at the top of the deck. It's a 1 boost. Feeling good about our choices. This dog pool kind of sucks. And then we'll just recover for 3, which recovers Captain Marvel for 2, and then we'll just pass. We're not going to use Jessica Drew's apartment. In theory, we should actually, because if it's a bad card, we just take it out of the deck. Yeah. So before we ready, which I'm already doing, we'll use Jessica Drew's apartment, and we'll just look at the top 5. If we find a card that we don't care about, like a suit up, we'll just draw in our hand and discard it. All these cards are good. We have to get an aspect card. I think the aspect card we don't want is Bob. So I'm just going to draw Bob, and then when we end our turn, we'll discard Bob. Sorry, Bob. Use finesse on blackout instead of a stick to it. Finesse on blackout. It generates a wild. Yeah, that's what we should have done. Is we should have done the physical for this from hand and this on that. Yeah, that would have been better. That's like something we can easily retcon. Yeah, let's just retcon it. I forgot that we used the finesse on stick to itiveness with an extra physical, but no, it's fine because we used the physical at the end of the turn to get rid of the weekend. But yeah, that was strictly the easier ordering. Chorus of Saturn bones for rock, paper, scissors, but now it's guaranteed. We also can't recover again because we're at full health, but that's it. We'll pass. We'll draw 6. Nick. All right. Side by side. Love it. That's 2 side by sides. That's so much damage. Beast. We're never going to play him. Self-propelled. We need that. We definitely want another aspect card here. Nope. Only blue all the time. Let's go to 3. Kang is confused. Oh, this is our encounter card, right? Energy Blast. Alter Ego, discard an ally or support you control. If you cannot, this card gains Surge. Oh, this goes up 1 more because of Dog Pool. So unfortunately, the only support we have is Drew's apartment. So I'm just going to get rid of Dog Pool. Technically, Dog Pool is still doing something, which is 1 damage. But Jessica Drew's apartment is probably going to be more important on this exact turn. All right. I keep forgetting with the Stunner Confused. This is not a boost card. It's an actual card. I wasn't a big fan of Dogpool when I played a campaign with Pool. Headpool, though, is MVP. Yeah, Headpool's really good and probably should be in the slot of Dogpool. Headpool is just absurdly good on any turn where there's multiple minions because Headpool forces 1 minion to attack another, let alone thwarts for 2. If you ask me, I think we have enough healing that we probably should not play Dogpool. We should just swap it for Headpool because thwart 2 is absurd and that ability is really good for minion management. Headpool is very, very good. I really like Lady Deadpool too, but she's a bit expensive for this deck. When defeated, 2 thwart, 2 attack. I don't really care about amplify icons that much. Hazard is the hardest one for me, which I don't know if Panda Pool is Hazard. I think Panda Pool is Hazard. Yeah, like this one I sleep on. Solo Hazard is so bad. I'm not someone who plays Symbiote Suit ever. Can't be super surprising. Okay, 25 health. Kang's at full health, is stunned. 4 threat on here. We can deal with it. Let's just see if there's anything we want to do in Alter Ego. Not really. This could be play a beast angle, but I think we just send damage. So let's start with Captain Marvel. Should just do 3. Draws a card. It's an energy. Okay. That actually makes Nick Fury a bit more playable. Because I think we can dump these 4 for Nick Fury, no problem. Because we're not going to play Beast. We're not going to play Pheromones. We could maybe play Beast and then use Beast to get a triple. The triple can play Nick Fury cheap. And then we have more allies on the table. That actually might be better. Let's just use Jessica's here. So we'll look at 5. So we can get suit up, useless, cut uppers, damage. We wanted like a cheap yellow card here. It's a Venom Blast. We'll take the Venom Blast as an aggression card. We can definitely play. The cut upper is just a bit more expensive. But like almost all our pool cards are on the table. It's mostly allies at this point and cut upper. A card that also is like worth looking at is Mulligan, because Mulligan is just, because we have resource generators with finesse, I actually think Mulligan might be worth it in this deck. So maybe you can play some more leadership cards and just add 2 Mulligans, because Mulligan is really playable with finesse. But the big thing with Mulligan is you cannot play it if you've played another card, but you can just dump your whole hand in the metagame cards, like the healing and the blackout, and then just Mulligan with finesse for a new hand. It's good. It's actually quite good, because you're not playing a card if you're spending it on your metagame cards. The issue is like Jessica Drew, like you can't really activate with her and then ready her with stick-to-itiveness because her stats suck if you don't play cards. Okay, I think we just ready Captain Marvel and do it again. So she attacks for 3, draws a card. Yeah, that's what we want. Conspicuous is perfect because we had a slight threat problem. And then we're going to use our alter ego text to look at the top card of the deck. It's not a fist, but it is a mental. That's really good. The problem now is we have to draw that before we play Nick Fury, but that's not an issue. We should be lethal here. I think we could puzzle for a moment what is the best ordering here. I'm going to use this to reveal a physical from our hand, to discard the top card of our deck with RPS. Not you. So this gets discarded and then added to our hand. And now, oh my god, do we have choices? So Nick Fury could draw 3. I don't even know what's in our deck that we want to draw. It's not that good. Drawing the energy would be fine, but it's not that good because Contaminant is not worth it. So maybe we don't play Nick here. We are full health, which is good. So I think we do play Beast. So I'm going to do 1, 2. No, I don't think we play Beast. Beast is functionally 1 resource for 2 damage and a blue card. We're not going to struggle to play a blue card this turn. So I think we want to max our stats before we start playing Sidekick. Our Sidekick side-by-side stuff. So if that's the case, we'll do energy. Nope. Almost play Beast for Venom Blast. What about Nick's damage event? Paying 4 for 3 damage is, or 4 for 4 damage is not that good on this turn when we have so many ways to pay 1 for 4 by readying ourselves. Yeah, 4 for 4 is just like not amazing. Technically it's 4 for 6, but like compared to our 2 for 5, it's not amazing. There's some board states where it's worth it, especially because it does beat guard and stuff like that. But we also want to play aspect cards, so it has an additional cost associated. All right, we'll play, not you. We'll play Venom Blast. So we played a red. Does 5 damage to the villain. Okay, we just want to damage max. We'll just do ahead. Oh, that was a superpower. So instead, we'll play Pheromones and Death Focus. Keep this energy. Pheromones, keep this energy. Yeah, that's what we did. Because now, what am I doing? This is a mess. Yeah, we have superpowers. It's fine. So then we'll do Beast for Inconspicuous. So remove 3 threat, play a yellow card. All right, our stats are 3. That's the most we're going to get this turn, I'm pretty sure. So we'll attack for 3 into the villain. Villain takes 3, we're exhausted. Then we'll do a double for side-by-side. We don't need the healing, so we're going to go for the +1 stats, which means we should have done this before we use Captain Marvel the second time. That is a mistake. So we're going to ready Captain Marvel, ready ourselves. Both characters get +1 thwart, +1 attack. So I'm going to just put a little die here as a reminder. But yeah, in theory, we missed some damage, but I think we're going to have enough damage to not be too super upset about it. Then Captain Marvel is going to attack for 4, which is absurd. So villain takes 4. We draw a card. It's a contaminant immunity. Okay, so we give ourselves +1. Not necessary. We'll attack for 1, 2, 3, 4 into the villain. Then we'll just super simple. We'll self-propelled glide, not an aspect card. Well, did we play a superpower? I think we did. We'll play self-propelled glide for self-propelled glide. We had so much more extra damage this turn if we want to get through it. I think we don't need to, because this ready Spider-Woman, she attacks again for 4 to the Kang. On this turn, we could have done side-by-side again, which is another 4, 5, 9 damage. We had like an extra 11 damage on this turn, let alone drawing more cards. Absurd. absurd. Leadership Captain Marvel, Sidekick Captain Marvel is cracked, straight cracked. And then Deadpool keeping her alive forever is really quite nice. And then all these cards are just so much free, flexible gas with finesse. This deck is hype, really quite good. As long as you get her on the table consistently by like turn 2 to 3, I think you're flying. But Spider-Woman on her own is like pretty self-sufficient. I don't think you need Captain Marvel. She just helps a lot with such a cheap deck. Blue card. You're right. I played a blue card. We're attacking for like 5 there. And then, yeah, like, so what the right order there is in theory, what we're meant to have done is, okay, say the Kang heals for 4. So we played side by side. So then we attack again. We recovered 4. That's not right. Hold on. We take 4. Villain recovers 4. So if we attack for 5 into the villain, technically we're exhausted. Okay, so we're exhausted. So now we drew one of these, I think. We can do Nick and Contaminate for another side by side. So that readies both of us. We all have +2 attack. Captain Marvel now attacks for 5 into the villain. Villain takes 5. I think I did 1 too few damage to the villain. Captain Marvel is defeated. This is our hand. We attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into the villain. Then we'll self-propelled glide. Unfortunately for a self-propelled glide. So we're ready. We'll attack to 6 for the villain. We can't finesse for this. The best we can do is finesse for stick-to-itiveness. We attack for 6 into the villain. And then this is unfortunately stranded. I think if we manage our resources more, maybe we were able to play this extra card, and then we could have used this finesse on one of the aspect cards. We had a bit of unknown information, but I do think we get down to like -20 on Kang. So absurd. There's actually a chance that we should play 3 sidekicks in the deck. I didn't want to because they're obviously not great when you don't get your thing down on the first cycle, but it's probably worth it. I do think though, in the point where you get through your deck and you're mostly set up with upgrades, that they show up right when you need them, and they're very, very good. Yeah, Kang was, and no point scary, unfortunately. Let's try and do something else with the Spider-Woman deck. See if the setup catches us out somewhere else. I think I want to do Spider-Woman versus Spider-Woman to finally prove who's the best Spider-Woman once and for all. I guess it's us. She's bananas, super bananas, just so bananas. Kang is cool. I think that's like one of my biggest criticisms, unfortunately, with the Civil War box, is that, and it's not that pronounced with Kang, it's at least something, is that the villains do the same thing on turn 1 that they do on turn 15 when you're playing cooperative or solo. And that is like not super interesting to me. At least Kang changes, we go to different worlds. It could have been more, that's for sure. But I do appreciate the fact that it does change up as we go. All right, while I clean this up, I said I would talk about this earlier, but I got the opportunity to play PvP for the first time against my partner technically. I want to say that she was not excited for it, which I'm not surprised. We look at Marvel Champions and we come to Marvel Champions specifically to play cooperative. That is the fun thing. We sit down and we play cooperatively next to each other, and it's really nice. It's great. And we had to put that on its head. I net decked one of Web Warrior Fanatics, like, you know, Ronin Expert 6 turns sort of Spider-Ham deck. Spider-Ham's already like really, really strong, and my partner likes Spider-Ham because it lets her fly through stuff. And she was playing against my Captain Marvel leader. She was playing on Standard. I put it on Expert, and I was playing an aggression average Winter Soldier deck. The Winter Soldier deck wasn't amazing. There wasn't that many minions that showed up, but it was fine. I like playing Winter Soldier. I haven't played enough Winter Soldier, especially because Tiger's kind of taking his lunch. It was okay. We ended it. Partner technically won, but then I made her go on to do the third side of the villain because it was going really well for her. And so we both got to defeat our villain around the same turn, which was nice, but she technically won. I think she should have played on Expert, and she agreed. So the next time we're going to do it, we're both going to play on Expert. It was cool to see some of the extra cards that get shuffled into the deck. Once you start them in the main side scheme, you get ability to add these cards to you. And for what it's worth, I think we both did the same thing where we were playing. We were both, what's it called? What am I trying to say? We both did the exact same thing where when we pop the card that lets you look for the set aside cards, we both took the double resource that gave counters to our Captain Marvel and she had Spider-Woman and confused the other person. That was all it did. I had a really cool line where I gave her Maria Hill because she had the side scheme that starts with a minion on the second turn. And then when I drew one of the cards that said, look at the top 5 to give her another encounter card, I grabbed the shield soldier that said, take the top shield card from the discard pile and put it in play. She had to deal with Maria Hill twice, which made me feel kind of clever. From that, though, that was almost all the interaction we had with each other, which kind of felt not the best. I think all I'm trying to get to is like, I think it was okay. We're going to play one more time to see the other villains. I still haven't played, or other leaders. I still haven't played yet with She-Hulk or Vision. But what my partner said, and I kind of agree, is like, I think I'd much rather play this game cooperatively. So it's kind of a novelty, but it's not something I think we're going to play a lot. I don't know about how you can metagame it. I think the big frustration is that there were so few cards that we touched that allowed us to interact with the other player. And I think the sell of PvP in any game is that you have like direct impact with the other player. And this felt the way that I expected it to feel, just kind of more like a race. And that was okay. I just wish there was more cards. I think there still wasn't enough cards that made our villains or our leaders feel special. I think that's one of my biggest complaints of Civil War is that there's like 9 Captain Marvel cards in the counter deck. That's just not a lot. Like Captain Marvel didn't do much. She gained a couple counters every once in a while and then just attacked back a couple times. And I do not think that makes an interesting villain. I think what my partner said I really respected is like what she likes playing against villains is because the villains are cool. Like that was the thing. She's like, I know because these are heroes, they're not going to do anything really messed up. And I'm like, that's a really funny way of thinking of it. But they weren't cool. Like the villains are not cool. I don't know what to say. They just like kind of do the average thing. And I think that's kind of my point is where if you build a bespoke scenario with like locations and side schemes and minions that all interact in a really bespoke way, like shout out to things like Apocalypse or Hela or Sabretooth, those are so much more impactful. And those are the narratives I think my partner and I remember a fair bit more. And so all those things coalesced in our one game, and I'm glad my partner came to the same conclusions as I. If you're enjoying PvP, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. I need to put our obligation in here. But yeah, it was like very much fine, but not something I'm excited about. The PvP seems interesting, but not really well thought out. It's a case similar to campaign mode. Will it grow over time? I don't think it'll grow over time because I don't think they're going to be releasing more cards for this PvP mode. I'd be surprised if they did, because then it requires this content for them to make any sense, unless they do another PvP box sometime in the future. So I'd be surprised if they do, but I don't know how you make this mode. Like, I think there's maybe a chance that people will figure out how to make this mode more applicable to other villains. So like if I could play Sabretooth versus my partner, maybe that would be cool. I think there's like some, maybe even some rules changes that would make this more interesting. Like whenever my partner was have to draw a boost card, if I could look at the top 2 encounter cards of the deck and give her the worst of 2, then I would feel like I'm playing against her and she would feel like she's playing against me. Like it just feels like there's so few ways to interact with your opponent. And maybe it scales better in multiplayer because those cards say like, look at 5 cards, deal 1 per player. I think there's cards like that. Maybe that would be important. But yeah, she stayed on side 1 of her main scheme that had no text after turn 1, and I stayed on my main scheme for side 1. Fan content will crack PvP. Fan content, I think, can do a lot to make PvP more interesting. But it's not only fan content. I think like fans can just largely redo the rules. And for what it's worth, I think the best PvP in this game would still, to some extent, be actually attacking the other hero. I don't know. You get like 1 or 2 instances where you're feeling like you can interact with your opponent. I don't think it felt worth the time. I'd much rather spend the time playing co-op. Yeah, that's my conclusion. Is that definitely for this channel, I'll play PvP again against my partner to see the other leaders. If someone asked me to play PvP at some sort of social situation, 100% I would say yes. But I think overall, the sort of decisions that we can make and the ways that we can interact with each other seem way more rich playing cooperatively. Right? Like two-handed is so cool in this game where she can do actions on my turn and we can interact with each other and we have problems that we have to work out together. And then everyone was just like, yeah, I don't know. I think if you play 4-player PvP, then you have that on top of PvP and maybe that's the best of both worlds or like some good from both worlds. But yeah, it did not resonate with me, but I'll definitely play more. David, how's it going? I started watching your videos like a month ago and enjoyed a lot the explanations of your game and your setup. Really enjoy your comments about the game too. Glad I finally see you live. Hey, thank you, David. Thanks so much for dropping in, let alone taking the time to leave a nice comment like that. It's super appreciated. Glad that folks are finding this channel. We've been growing a fair bit, which it's really obviously satisfying. A lot of work goes into making this the way it is. So if you're new, say hi if you'd like to. Not only to maybe meet myself, but to meet all the other nice folks in the community in the chat. Again, sorry to be a bummer about PvP. Going into it, I don't think Civil War is a box made for me. It's almost comically like a box not made for me as somebody who almost entirely plays campaign mode solo. So it is what it is. But we have a new box coming out this year, so we'll be fine. If you have like really cool stuff to say about it too, I'd love to hear a different perspective for sure, because We don't need this to be an echo chamber, do we? All right, let's give it another shot. Let's figure out who is the best Spider-Woman. I was really scared to play Spider-Woman in Civil War because people said like she was very swingy, pun intended. So far she's been the most interesting because she's been the most scary. I thought also that was the thing we're going to run into, and I think we're going to see this when I play against my partner. My partner was really happy to have Iron Man be her leader. I'm like, oh, cool. Huge mistake on your part. But like PvP had the chance, and I guess Iron Man's deck has another tech card you can add to it when you're playing PvP. I think that was like one of my issues. Is like Iron Man sees 2 upgrades maybe, and then has blank text box for the rest of the game. And I was hoping that PvP would give you more instances to make their text box less blank, and so far that hasn't been the case. All right, Spider-Woman is of the Resistance. Oh, I'm so frustrated by the card borders. It's fine. I think the divider is here. Yeah, shout out to here. Playing the new Loki epic scenario with multiple groups also felt really hollow. I like the new Loki scenario a ton, but the epic mechanic was a miss for me. I like the Enchantress so much. I still haven't played Loki on Expert. We played Loki on the stream, and I think we quickly found out that you can kind of game it, where you only have to do like 15 damage to Loki or 9 damage to Loki to win. I imagine it's a bit more interesting in multiplayer, but I haven't got to it yet. In terms of like convention play, most of the conventions going on this year, and it looks like there's a lot. They're all in the States, which unfortunately as a Canadian, traveling is just kind of off limits. So hopefully in sometime in the future, we'll be able to have an opinion on that makes some sort of sense. Villain, name, Spider-Woman. I don't think you're allowed to do this, but no one tell FOG. We'll do villain set health 17, and then villain card is Spider-Woman. Oh, I typed spider and hits tab. I did that way too early. Spider-Woman, leader 3. We're playing on expert. Oh, I messed that up. Hold on. How bad did I mess it up? Oh, only a bit bad. All right, we have to do the setup. So she's going to have Finesse. I only learned that Finesse can have only max 3 counters. That was a nice surprise. This will start in play. That's it. So now we have to build the deck of things, which I think I didn't pick up. Why are these half upside down? That seems better. Okay, I still haven't touched the new encounter sets. 2 reasons. Firstly, the encounter sets from Synthesized Smackdown is I don't have the scans yet. I don't know who's in charge of getting the scans up on Hall of Heroes. Whoever that person is, they're literally a hero. But yeah, if they need any sort of support getting those scans up, let me know, because it's stopping me from playing the content on this channel because I don't have the nice scans. Shout out to whoever does it in Hall of Heroes. If anyone knows, genuinely let me know, because I need to reach out to that person and give them a huge thanks. This is also the thing from the rule book of Civil War that got me, is I read the rules and they said that you can randomize and pick these scenarios. That's not true. You can't randomize and pick these side schemes because some of them need the encounter deck to be a certain way to have text. That is just not true. You can pick a side scheme that cares about unregistered, and then your deck can have no unregistered cards in it. That doesn't make sense. I don't think they should have done that, as much as like that gets closer to the bespoke scenario design that I want. Gotta just run an epic as a side event at a Netrunner tournament? Yeah, maybe. I don't know if we're gonna get enough asses and seats for that to happen, but yeah, I guess we could. I'm gonna try and full randomize this, but if we get one that's a bummer, we'll just like mulligan it. Does anybody have scenarios that they want to play, or sorry, stats that they want to see? Games need to be designed from the ground up to do what they do every time. You try and squeeze a square peg into a round hole, never fits IMO. I've seen some really like compelling, you know, re-implementations of sets. Like I could see it make sense. Like I do think someone could make a compelling roguelike mode for Marvel Champions. You'd probably have to print some custom cards and would require a lot of tuning. Don't get me wrong. But that's also like literally feedback my partner said. She's like, if you wanted this PvP, why don't you just make a new game? And I think there's some reasons why people would want to interact with their card pool of, you know, 1,000+ cards or whatever. I've had to re-mulligan the schemes once or twice. Yeah, if you do it, it's not the worst, but like they do say just go full random. And I don't think you can do that, FFG. It doesn't work all the time. I'm only going to pick 3 of these. The reason why is because so we can see some Spider-Woman cards, because you don't see them too consistently. Speaking of Spider-Woman cards, where are they? Oh, they're here. Rogue-like would be hype. Yeah, rogue-like would be really hype. I read Rogue. I'm like, the hero? Like, yeah, no, totally, it would be hype. Okay, I'm just gonna roll a die. We'll do full random. So this is gonna be even, odd. Odd, 1 to 4. 4. Okay, we'll do it again. Even, odd. I'm aware they're not balanced anymore. Even, 1 to 4. 5. modular. Okay, now we'll just do 1 to 6. We'll do 1, 6, 5. So we have Spider-Man, Spectrum set, and the Hell's Kitchen. Cool. There is some amount of synergy, I think, between all the sets that are like Marvel-esque characters and then all the like Atlantean characters. And then there's a sub-theme across all the New York City characters. So we're going to see a bit of a melange. So that's it. We'll do this. We'll do standard. We'll do expert. We'll do now Crisis of Infinite Dreadpool might show up more consistently and under uncertain loyalties for sure. Hey, Metaphor, Happy New Year. How's your 2026? I almost said 2016. How you doing? Thanks for dropping in. Spider-Man is a must. I'm glad we got there randomly, but Spider-Man was cool. That was the cool thing that did surprise me about PvP is the cards that are very, very different. Like Spectacular it felt a bit bad because I was going first because apparently I think Resistance always goes first or Registration, whatever side I was, I think Registration. It says place 2 threat on the main scheme in competitive mode, remove 3 threat from your leader's main scheme. That was cool. When that happened, I was like, well, that's generally something I've never seen in Marvel Champions. And I wish there were more cards like that. But that was the only one that did something super compelling. No, that's actually not true. There was 1 or 2 other cards that interacted with the other side of the table. Actually, I don't know the rule for this. I told my partner that you cannot interact with me, which I think is correct. But was my partner able to make the call to take cards out of my discard pile? And I was like, no, I don't think you can touch my cards. We're in 2 different games. But like being able to negatively interact with your partner or your opponent in PvP is a fun idea. I've been enjoying playing the campaigns through as a connecting story, but it's made some scenarios too easy. Which ones do you think have made it too easy? I think the campaigns are really good at ramping up difficulty at the same time as ramping up your power level. I think Rise of Red Skull is the one where you get stronger more than the scenarios get harder. But it was also their first, and very funnily, if you listen to some podcasts, they had to insert that campaign mode relatively late on to the balancing and the production of the whole box. It was a surprise to them that it was a campaign mode. But I do think like Mutant Genesis does a great job. I don't like a lot of the later campaign modes. But Mutant Genesis does a great job. The Mad Titan Shadow does a really good job with the campaign. Galaxy's Most Wanted does a good job, as much as I think the majority of the cards you can buy from the market are not worth it. There's a very like small subset that are almost always like snap buys, and a bunch of them other ones I will almost never pick. It's cool when you find a card in the Mad and in the Galaxy's Most Wanted market that looks bad until you're playing a certain hero, in which it's very good. All right, superhero resistance. Let's see what we got here. So the backs of these are all the same. It's a bit different. This is resistance. The setup is slightly different if you're playing PvP. We just have to go find our villain, our leader's side scheme. So self-propelled glide is kind of a nothing burger. That's all we have to do. And then we'll flip it over. We randomize this so we don't know what we're doing. Rallying call. All right, this one doesn't matter. Every minion gets guard. Sick. Okay, cool. I will forget that. All right, functionally blank text. Okay, 7th threat. If this advances, we go to the second one. The second ones are actually really cool half the time. So I wouldn't be too bummed out to get to the second one just to see something cool. All right, now I'm going to accidentally pull up a whole bunch of Spider-Woman cards. Forced Interrupt. When Spider-Woman would take damage from an attack, reduce the damage by 1 for each skill counter, and Finesse comes with an acceleration. Doesn't matter on turn 1 because there are no skill counters. Speaking of skill counters, Spider-Woman cares about revealing side schemes. Treacheries. Wow. So whenever you reveal a treachery, you put 1 counter on Finesse, and Finesse gives her +1 attack. For every counter on it, it can only hold 3 counters, and that's fun. When I played against Maddie, I made it so that I got the main scheme that got a counter every time a side scheme is revealed. A treachery was revealed, which is a really nice synergy within Spider-Woman. Strafe was kind of a non-fight with upgrades I had in next gen. Oh, neat. I could see that. I actually am really appreciating Strife. I never liked Strife, and then I played Strife a bit. I played 2 campaigns into Next Evolution, and I actually really enjoyed the Strife matchup. Rise of Red Skull is simple and fun, but Mutant Genesis is the best campaign in my fave. I would say Mutant Genesis or Age of Apocalypse, but Age of Apocalypse, don't play the campaign. Like the campaign mechanics in Age of Apocalypse are my least favorite, but Age of Apocalypse is a really fun box. So I think by default, yeah, you're right. And I do think Rise of Red Skull is just genuinely fun, like very fun, just straight fun all the time. Besides Absman, who's whatever. All right, that's it. Setup timestamp ended. Gameplay timestamp starts. I also carry over rewards, so it's just Mad Titan reward plus Sinister Motives made Mutant easy. Oh yeah, you're not meant to do that. Don't do that. You made it easy because you made it easy. But there are no rules in this game to keep campaign rewards from one campaign to another. That's Arkham Horror. But Arkham Horror usually gives you like trauma or something. So it was easy because you made it easy. Yeah, I don't think the rules support what you've done, which is fine. It's your game. Who cares? Okay, let's go. Let's try and find Captain Marvel. Self-preservation, that's perfect. That's 3 resources. We have a lot of cards in our deck that start with the word self-preservation. We do. Sidekick, okay. Not our favorite thing to open with, as much as we can get it back with suit up. Holy crap. Holy. Did I not shuffle well enough? Because I was about to pop off, but I think there's a chance that we generally just did not shuffle well enough. Because these 2 cards were probably together in the deck. Chat, let me know. Should I just put this back in the deck and reshuffle and like pile shuffle? Because I don't think we pile shuffled. So the chance that these are coming together is like really sus. That I don't want to play this hand out all the time. Didn't mean to delete that. Oh, that's okay. This seems like a bad shuffle. Because yeah, this is definitely pocket aces, but this is suspect. I shuffled, but I didn't do a pile shuffle. I normally do a pile shuffle. Let me know what you think, because I don't feel great about this. I need to try shield campaign more. I once played it with Black Widow protection and kind of ignored everything with Ready for a Fight. I like Black Widow a lot. I don't think I like the mechanics for the campaign and Agents of Shield. Please, somebody let me out of this faith. Either give me an endorsement that we can do this or an endorsement that we mulligan. Because I don't feel great about this. It happens. I mean, I think this is on us. If we draw like the cycle here, we're definitely going to mulligan. That is unimaginably the best opening. This is unimaginably the best opening you could possibly have. I knew it would be an issue, but I thought it would be interesting. I'm looking at a way of doing it more balanced because it's cool to keep like the same hero for several campaigns. Oh, you can do it. Just don't keep all the rewards you got. The cool thing with if you do at least Sinister Motives is you have downsides as well. I'm going to carry on. This is absurd. Fine. Fine. Okay. We're going to mulligan these 2 because they don't matter. We want to look for a double actually doesn't matter because we have no way to spend it, but these cards don't matter. Okay, we're going to play on. All right. All right. Good stuff. Great. Good stuff. Everything's good. Things are good. Okay. We'll spend 4 for our ally. She comes in with 3 health. When we use her activation, she draws a card. So we want to play our blue cards when we're in hero mode for multiple reasons. We might not be able to side by side this turn unless we draw a double. I don't think we do because we just play sidekick, play tic-tac-toe, and we call it a day. I've had games with openings like this and totally scuffed openers. I say let it roll. Yeah, like, I don't know if I didn't shuffle well enough. I'm a bit suspect. I mean, that's pretty good, I think. We can look at the top of a deck with our alter ego. Looking at our deck doesn't really matter because it doesn't change the scheduling of this opening. So I think we'll just thwart 2 here, draw a card. We'll finish the last. It's Jessica Drew's apartment. Oh, actually, that does matter. So we never whiff with this card. Sorry. This card. So we technically can do Jessica Drew's, fire Jessica Drew's. That card plays sidekick, and then we play tic-tac-toe. Then we clear this. I think I'm cool with it. We lose the side-by-side, but the side-by-side here is not super important. Could we just play side-by-side though? Like these cards are super necessary, so we can't really. So I will play it. It's nice to have a support in case we have to discard something. So we'll play Jessica Drew's and we'll just use it to look at the top 5 and draw a card. Okay, healing factor, inconspicuous beast. Yeah, we play beast all the time. So we have to take one of these 3. I'm just going to take beast because I can discard him safely. The Marvel Champions, please don't exist. Are you kidding me? You know how many times I've messed up rules text or in a video? The Marvel Champions, please are alive and well, and they're in my YouTube comments telling me that I'm messing up. And I say that with like, I respect that. They do exist. If you build up from the pre-con, you can level up over multiple campaigns. Oh, that is neat. Yeah, start with some pre-cons are good, but like starting up with the pre-con and then like spending some sort of experience to modify the pre-con, that's kind of cool. Okay. We'll flip. Things are good. Things are really good. So we'll just beast for sidekick, so she gets +2 health. We'll play tic-tac-toe, so we played blue and pink. Tic-tac-toe, mind you, is so important because now we have infinite Captain Marvel healing, which is great. And now we have another upgrade to discard if we need to. We could just thwart this, or we could do 3 damage. If we thwart this, it's like thwarting 2. So it looks like 1, but it's technically 2. And technically, Spider-Woman only takes 2 damage because of the text is self-propelled. So we'll just thwart this away. It has no functional text. We'll pass. Drop, really good start. The bad precons are extra challenge mode. Yeah. Oh, hey, finesse. That's great. Stick to it in this. It's fine. Self-confidence. We're going to take some damage this round. Dogpool. We didn't get rid of our healing card, did we? No, we just saw it in our deck. Dogpool probably should actually be the other guy. And Venom Blast. So we have red and pink. Okay. We'll probably get 2 resources from our self resource card. This goes to 1. Villain, she attacks us for 2 and a card. We don't know the card. Oh, we could have looked at this card because we didn't look at the top of the deck. It's not going to change how we block. But in theory, in Alter Ego, we could have peeked at this. I'm going to peek at it. The boost is you are stunned, otherwise you're confused. So that doesn't change how we block. So Spider-Woman is now going to attack us for 2, and we're going to get stunned. 2 is good enough because we can still play our card. That will give us 2 resources. Encounter card. It's a treachery. We played around this slightly. So a couple things happen. When we reveal a treachery, we put a counter on finesse, her finesse, not our finesse. This will just give her +1 attack. And the next time she attacks, she gets rid of all of these. I knew this would happen. This is our finesse. So she gets +1 here. And then we'll just discard Jessica's Drew's apartment. Great. Back to us. We're in a good spot. This generates 2. Captain Marvel can draw some cards. We want to find our next upgrade for her. Venom Blast. We're just going to do a lot of damage this turn. So Captain Marvel will attack for 2. To the villain, drawing a contaminant immunity. Okay, fine. We could heal 2. In theory, if we play contaminant immunity first, it makes this a 3 resource card, which actually hits no major breakpoints unless we want to play Dogpool, which I think we do want to play Dogpool. Having chump blockers is kind of important for Spider-Woman because she can hit really, really hard. So I think we will do that. So maybe we play these 2 for finesse. Nah, I think we hold on to this. This card's really good. But we definitely want to play our finesse sooner than later. So we'll do finesse, and we'll just pitch, unfortunately. Oh, there's no way to do this. There's no nice way to do this. Because finesse is definitely a priority this turn as soon as possible. So we could play finesse for 2. But then finesse could play, because if we say that we do, say that we do these 2 for finesse, finesse needs a card to play contaminant immunity, which means then we can't play the rest of this. So not perfect. So if that's the case, this card's really flexible as much as we didn't fire it that much because we have a lot of other redding in her kit, but redding is really good in her kit. So I think we just did not play contaminant and we'll just have Dogpool as our toughness this round. So we'll do self-confidence, generates 2 for finesse. This is our finesse. You can tell. I do like how they reframed the art. Not a huge fan of reusing the art, but I get what they're going at. So this has the ability to generate for an aspect card. So I think we just use Tic-Tac-Toe for healing. So we're going to do Dogpool for 1. We played a pink. I think this is our best card. 2/3. It's Dogpool. Comes in with Retaliate and Toughness. And we totally forgot his when defeated text. I knew that would happen last game. It did happen. We forgot to do 1 damage. Very inconsequential text compared to some of the other ones. Has Retaliate. Woof woof. We'll attack for 1 to the villain. Doesn't take consequential. I'll just hold on to this. Or we could use it to heal. I'm just going to use it to heal. We'll throw in an energy on Tic-Tac-Toe. So we kill 1 for Captain Marvel. And then we'll just attack technically for 2, but get rid of the stun. And we'll pass. We'll draw up. 1. Venom Blast. Okay. Damage. Nick Fury might do that. Pheromones. Fantastic against Spider-Woman. Cut Upper for some more status control and the healing factor, which is a really good card. So our hands are really expensive. We did set up really well last game with our research generators. We want a Sky Cycle because it's +1 card a turn. It's functionally a research generator, but can't feel bad about this. Recons are definitely the answer again. I'm also just a fan of leveling unlocking, which is like why I like Arkham, but Arkham Solo is sad. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Arkham Solo fan, but yeah, unlocking and having that RPG progression is super compelling. I do wish the schemes in Civil War did a little more. I understand they need to be generic for all the leaders, but they're so bland. I forget they had text, at least the 1A cards. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't have printed a main scheme for each villain for each leader though. Like you could have had an Iron Man main scheme. You can probably make one with content creation tools, but there's no reason not to have a main scheme that has text that is relevant, right? Like you can have that as an option. Just don't pick it for everyone else. I don't know. It feels weird to me that there wasn't. All right, this goes up by 2 because Dogpool does have, importantly, acceleration, and Spider-Woman now attacks for 3 in a card. We'll exhaust Dogpool, who has Retaliate Toughness. 1, 2, 3. Boost, you are stunned, otherwise you're confused. Okay, we got both of our pheromones, so we are stunned. Dogpool loses the toughness. We do Retaliate 1 to Spider-Woman. Counter's gone. And counter card is a Treachery, so same nice loop. We've been drawing a lot of Spider-Woman cards, which is kind of what we wanted. So this one is Inconspicuous. Nope. Inconspicuous. Either discard the highest cost card you control. That would be Captain Marvel. That's a disaster. Or Spider-Woman Schemes. If Spider-Woman Schemes, we're likely to advance here. But I think there's no shot we can discard Captain Marvel. So we're going to have to do this because Dogpool is not expensive enough. So we'll let her scheme. So she schemes for 2 in a card. 3, 4, we advance. That's fine. That's what we wanted. We wanted to advance here. But she did get us, so we have to reveal side 2A. There's 4 of these. If it doesn't interact well with our text, we'll mulligan. It's back to us. We'll do 1 on top, 4 on bottom. We get Guerrilla Warfare. This is the plus attack one? No. After status card is placed on the enemy leader, place 1 threat here. Ooh, good text. That's really good text because we place a lot of counters. We have ability to place a ton of counters. So good for her. That worked out. It's time to add to make RPG style upgrades for Marvel on my backlog of things to do for card games like Netrunner Cube and Netrunner Format. Netrunner Cube is good fun. If you haven't tinkered a cube, it's really satisfying. All right, no threat to do. So we're just gonna start with Captain Marvel. Attack for 2, draw a card. We drew Inspired, that's perfect, as much as we don't have a ready. So Pheromones is still worth it, that's for sure. Inspired is worth it. These 3 cards I don't really care about. So if we want to play Nick Fury, it's once again kind of awkward because we get rid of 1, 2, 3, but then we have to get rid of 1 card we like. So we could get rid of Pheromones. I think Inspired is more important. And then we just let Spider-Woman attack Nick Fury. So I think we will go for that. We also can block with Dogpool and lose Dogpool, which is like totally acceptable. But I think we'll draw a bit deeper in our deck, especially because we find Sky Cycle. It opens up a lot on this turn. So Nick costs 4. We can't use Finesse because he's not an aspect card. We'll do 1, 2, 3. And unfortunately, Pheromones is gone. So Nick draws 3. We'll draw 3. Genius. Okay. Self-control, not good. Self-propelled glide, awful. Really bad Nick. One of the worst Nicks I've ever fired. Oh god, that was bad. At least with tic-tac-toe, that's something, but that's not good. Okay. Not great. All right. We'll do Finesse to give our Captain Marvel some inspiration. So that's a blue card. She gets +1 attack, +1 thwart. So big difference. 3 is a huge breakpoint for a lot of solo side schemes and a lot of minions. Nick will do what he can. Attack for 2. We will just go ahead and attack for stun. And then I guess we play our cards. So I will just Self-Propelled Glide is only 2 damage or 1 healing. It's fine. So we'll play Self-Propelled Glide. We're ready. It's not an aspect card. We'll attack for 2. She no longer has this guard text. And then we'll use Self-Control to generate a blue. I'll tic-tac-toe to heal Captain Marvel. That's it. I think we can keep Dogpool around for 1 more turn. It should be fine. We drop Inconspicuous. That's some threat management. Self-propelled. Strength. We're looking for a deft focus in our last finesse. Blackout. And there's the deft focus. Okay, so that's good. This goes to 2 because of Dogpool. Spider-Woman attacks for 3 in a card. We'll block with Nick. 1, 2, 3. Boost off of Spectrum. Exhaust a character you control. I guess we exhaust Dogpool. Nick Fury's defeated. Counter card. Not a Treachery. It's Defend Hell's Kitchen. Defend Hell's Kitchen. Hinder 1 comes in with 4 threat. Threat cannot be removed while Defender minions in play. The chance of having having text is almost dependent on you playing multiplayer. So that's just 4 threat we have to deal with. Don't have a Sky Cycle yet, but we have a lot of threat removal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards left. Spider-Woman versus Spider-Woman. It reminds me of the time me and my friend played Arkham with both of us as Susie. Oh, that's cool. I still haven't played Susie yet. Phil, how's it going, by the way? Happy New Year's. Hands have been awkward this game. Everything costs 3 or everything costs 1. Yeah, we've had really weird hands. We had a very expensive hand. So like while we started really well with Captain Marvel, oh, this is 3/3. We are not drawing well when it comes to everything else. Once we get our depth focus on our other thing, we should be good. But Sky Cycle is like the huge difference here. Our stats reset. Doesn't Marvel have 3 thwart? Yeah, the die was wrong. I put it on the wrong side. 3 thwart, 3 attack. Good catch. Okay. We definitely want to start by boosting our stats, but Captain Marvel, she can just thwart for 3 into this, and then we can finish it off with Inconspicuous, so she draws a card. Maria. Okay, that's a 1 blue card in her hand. That's not too bad. It uses our strength well, so I think we will do that. It knocks into her Inconspicuous, but I think finding a Sky Cycle here is so important. So we'll do strength into Maria. Nope. She draws a card. Sky Cycle. No, another Inconspicuous. We played a blue card. We might not use Maria again, which is really funny. We have this superpower in her hand, so I think we're going to do Inconspicuous for depth focus. So this generates for a superpower. A lot of our cards are superpowers. I think we just do the best we can. So we'll do Finesse for Inconspicuous, playing a yellow card. We're going to have an awkward Maria again. I think we'll still use her for like attack 1, just because we need to get her in the bin before we deck out. But we probably can, yeah, we can't block with her. So we'll remove 3 threat. So we'll just clean all this up. Okay. Then we'll do an attack for 3 into Spider-Woman. We'll use Depth Focus to play Self-Propelled Glide. So it's functionally a 1 for 3. So we'll ready ourselves. We'll attack for 3 more. Oh, hold on. Before we do all this, we'll play Blackout. So it should have been 2 attacks for 4. Excuse me. This is our Deadpool card. We're not going to use it to heal. So that'll be attack for 4, attack for 4. So we'll do 1 more on our first attack because we played a pink card, and then we'll attack again for 4. So down to 2. That's really awkward because when you advance Spider-Woman, she can't take more damage. So that really stinks because Maria Hill, we're 1 damage short. So it really, you want to cleanly knock these out because next turn we're going to be sitting around doing nothing. If that's the case, again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we draw 5, Maria Hill, we'll just attack for 1 with Maria Hill. And then we could block with her if we don't want to use Deadpool. We'll probably use Dogpool, actually, because we have enough blue cards in our deck. We want to have enough pink cards in our deck. So villain will take 1. All right, let's draw it. Can Dog Retaliate and defeat on villain phase? Oh yeah, sick. Yeah. Huge, because it's per phase. Yeah, that's perfect. That was going to happen anyways, but that's a really good shout out. Yeah, if we hit her here, it's just the best for us. And then Dogpool's damage is wasted, but we're going to forget that text exists. Susie is super fun to play. Lots of eating magnifying glasses and switchblades. I think the fun part about Susie is like she levels up in a really weird way. And I want to experience that where you have to like tactically eat the right cards to level up in the right direction. Finesse. Suit up side by side. That's perfect. We haven't seen any of those, I don't think. Suit up. Okay, awkward. Energy. That means in the bottom 3 cards, we have Sky Cycle. So we're almost guaranteed to draw it with a side by side. We're going to see all but 1 card in our deck. Even if he's defeated, the retaliation won't fire, but the text will cover you. Oh, you're right. Yeah, if it's defeated, the retaliation won't fire. So it's actually the text that matters. That's perfect. I totally forgot. Yeah, that won't fire if he's defeated. Probably might not be, but could be. This goes to 1. It says again, after a stats card is placed, that's fine. So villain is attacking for 2 in a card. Oh, sorry, this goes to 2. We'll block with Dogpool. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Uncertain loyalties. That's our obligation. It knocks out Dogpool. And luckily Dogpool's text now matters. Deal 1 damage to an enemy, which returns the favor in kind. So that hits 1 to Spider-Woman. Cool. So now the villain has to advance. So we get Spider-Woman 4. Steady, that's fine. We have some stun or confuse. Steady is a really bad combination with guerrilla warfare, so that's kind of cool. When revealed, deal each player an encounter card, so we're going to be drawing 2 encounter cards, and Spider-Woman is good at cascades. She has 21 health, and when Spider-Woman attacks, she gets +1 attack for each counter, so totally fine. She cannot take damage this phase, so we just have to get through the villain phase. It's not round, not that it would have changed anything, so that's perfect. Yeah, great dog. Spectacular. All right, this card's so much cooler in multiplayer. So it is a treachery. So 1 finesse counter. This just says place 2 threat on the main scheme. If we draw an advance, we actually could lose here. I don't know what this does. Freedom Fighters from the Secret Avengers. When revealed, resolve the boost ability. If they're no, this gets surged. We reveal the treachery. Assault. Okay, that's fine. So we revealed a treachery. So that's the most damage she can attack for. So now she's attacking us for 6 and a card. So we're going to put Maria Hill in the way for sure. Thanks, Maria Hill, just in time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boost is reveal this card. This one's kind of hard to get rid of. Not the most difficult. Oh, that was bound to happen. So attaches the Spider-Woman, gets her +1. It says when Spider-Woman would be stunned or confused, discard this card. Now, stunned or confused actually means the second stunned or confused because of steady. I'm not sure if you remove both of this stunned or confused, but she's only considered stunned or confused when she gets the second one. I'm pretty sure because of steady. She knocks out Maria Hill. So I'm not sure if you remove both of them. I'm guessing you do. That's kind of a weird interaction. All right, we're in a good spot. We can do 21 damage in this turn. Can we do 21 damage in this turn? If we draw a Sky Cycle, we can do 3, 6, 9. We can probably do about half her health in this turn. Maybe we can do a bit more if we get lucky. I unfortunately think we have to thwart a bit responsibly. So I think we will start there. We will thwart for 3. Drawing a card, give us a Sky Cycle. Rock, paper, scissors. We can 100% nail the rock, paper, scissors when the deck is empty. So we will get there. And we wanted to play a pink card anyways, so that's totally fine. So we're going to use Finesse to play rock, paper, scissors. We won't use this right away because we can guarantee it next in a second. We played a pink card. Okay, I think we will just play our Finesse. It cuts a bit of our damage, but having 2 Finesses is really good. So we will play another Finesse. Actually, maybe we don't. Because now with 2 Finesses, we have no superpowers. So we have to do like, yeah, that's fine. We'll do Suit Up and Suit Up into side by side. Because we know we're going to draw aspect cards. There's 2 cards left. They're both aspect cards. It's a Sky Cycle and a Bob. I can't shuffle this adequately. So when we ever draw a card, I'm just going to roll a die so that we don't have to worry about shuffling. Before we do this, we haven't played a blue card. We'll just attack for 2 into Spider-Woman because our stats are 2. So she's down to 19. Then we'll play side by side. We don't actually need the healing here, so we can go for extra damage. I think that's acceptable because we have tic-tac-toe. And yeah, that seems fine. So we're going to ready both our characters. And we're going to give them both +1 for this round. So she has +1, she has +1, and that's good. Captain Marvel will now attack for 4 into Spider-Woman, drawing a card. I'll roll a die because we kind of know the order. Even, as on left. It's even. Through the Sky Cycle, that's perfect. Before we do anything, we'll Finesse out the Sky Cycle. So, ooh, actually, we maybe needed a bit of healing here. Yeah, we needed a bit of healing here. Oh, we messed up. Oh, we have no cards in hand. Hold on. Wait. Before we play this, I totally forgot. We need a card in hand for this. So before we play this card, the card in our deck has a physical. That is unfortunately not what we wanted. I thought this was guaranteed, but it's not. Because we needed exactly a mental in our hand. Oh no, we goofed it. We goofed it bad. We probably shouldn't have played this Finesse. That's very funny. I still think we play the Sky Cycle and we just like do something good this turn. We're not going to do anything perfect because we can no longer heal. So we're just setting up. Let's just say that. Yeah, that wasn't great. You can get +1 since you played a leadership card. Yeah, we can. I think in hindsight, we probably should have gone for the healing now. Because with the healing, if you draw Sky Cycle, yeah. So we definitely should have gone for the healing because then we can use Captain Marvel more than once. So it mattered because if we drew another card, this would be different. So I don't feel comfortable fixing it, but the healing was actually better. This was greedy. This is just +2 damage. Healing was more than +2 damage, especially because we're going to waste all this. Regardless, we're just going to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4 to the villain, and we'll pass. And this can heal if you don't play Cycle this turn. Wait, that's way better. Yeah, that's way better. Hold on. Yeah, you're right. That's so much better. Okay. So say that we don't play the Sky Cycle. We're ready. We'll undo the 4 damage. Villain, recover 4. So we have 1 Finesse here. Yeah, that's way better. And then we still have a shot of rock, paper, scissoring. That opens up a lot. Yeah, that should have been a bit more obvious. So we were here. This was ready. This is fine. Okay. So this is where we were in a moment ago. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Finesse instead to tic-tac-toe. We're going to use red. I think we have fewer red. Want to do 3 damage? I'm kidding. We'll tic-tac-toe here, which heals Captain Marvel. But then we can't play the Sky Cycle. Wait, why did I think this was good? Wait a second. No, so I guess we finesse for... No, rock, paper, scissors doesn't work with finesse. Wait, why was this better? No, this is not better. I thought we'd be able to get a card out of this, but we can't because we can't play the Sky Cycle. Because Captain... Yeah, I don't think we do this. I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So we play this instead. We played a blue. Am I forgetting something? And it will attack for 4. That seemed really good. And then I did it. And I'm like, wait a second. There's not much we can do with this. Wife and I have to go watch the Packers versus Viking games. It's been a joy watching this stream. I'll stop back soon. Have a good day. Hey, enjoy your NFL game. Yeah, have a good Sunday. Thanks for dropping in. Hopefully you have a good time in the game. I didn't realize you needed finesse for cycle. My bad. Yeah, no. It was almost really, really good. I think there was a better ordering. If we healed, we would have been in a good spot because then we could have used Captain Marvel and done it again. We technically can use Captain Marvel, but then she's defeated. But the biggest thing we messed up is we shouldn't have healed. It's definitely not worth it. All right. It's fine. We're like 11 damage to winning the game. Like, we should be okay here. We'll just drop. We draw Bob. And then we shuffle. Okay. Best thing we could draw here is a bunch of cheap aspect cards. But how much damage do we have? Almost guaranteed. We have 3, 6. If we just draw a Venom Blast, we win. We're in a really good spot. 1, 2, Contaminate Immunity. Strength is fine. Nick Fury. I don't know if he should be in the deck. Let's be honest. Self-propelled is perfect. That's all we got. Because a ready is technically worth at least 1 damage. This goes to 2. Spider-Woman is attacking for 3 in a card. This cannot defeat us, so we will just take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a bit of damage. We could have blocked, but blocking for 3 is probably not what we need here. 2 encounter cards. Tangled Up. Bummer. This just eats one of our activations. This was a cooler card. Whoa. In multiplayer because it attaches to the other villain. So it stops them from doing a thing. It stopped Captain Marvel riposting, which was kind of fun. And Secret Avengers. Okay, so nothing really matters. When defeated, the enemy team searches... Oh, sorry. There's a bunch of these. This is from Secret Avengers. So the enemy team searches for an encounter card and gives it to you. Otherwise, the enemy gets a face-down boost card. Whatever. 4 threat. Bob is 3 damage. Yeah, Bob is 3 damage. Actually, technically, Bob is 4 damage because it's also a pool card. So every card we play is worth something. All right. So we should have lethal here for sure. Do we play Nick? I don't think we play Nick. No, we don't play Nick. So what are we going to do? Ooh, wants to make the call. Any choice is right here. We have no wilds in our hand. There's no wilds in our deck. Does anybody want to rip it? That's the thing about this card. Is like you want wilds in your deck, but then if you have wilds in your deck, you can't beat rock, paper, scissors. If someone wants to make a rock, paper, scissors call before we do anything, that's sick. Otherwise, I'm going to use Nick Fury to heal Captain Marvel and then go off from there. But we have the damage. This is if we always... Oh, fist always on top. Good call. Okay, so we'll show Nick Fury. We'll do rock, paper, scissors. We're looking for a fist. It was a fist. Nailed it, Tony. Sick. So that's good. We'll then throw out the Nick. Do tic-tac-toe. Nope. To do tic-tac-toe. She heals. Get a mental. We actually could go for a physical here to do 4 more damage. Like this is another line. We can just do 4 damage. Captain Marvel will attack for 3 into the villain. Draws a card. It's a cut upper. Okay. This seems like we don't have to think about this too hard, do we? I'll do strength for Bob. We play a pink. When Bob enters play, we can deal 2 damage to an enemy. Whoa, actually, he's worth 5 damage this turn. So we'll do 2 to the villain. Cool. Sick. Sick. We'll attack. Gets rid of Tangled Up. It just stops your activation. We will Sky Cycle Captain Marvel. We can just use Captain Marvel here. It doesn't matter if she survives, so we'll attack for 3. Yeah, we don't have it ready. So we'll just attack for 3 more to the villain. She says after Captain Marvel, so this is before consequential. So we'll do 3 to the villain. We still draw a card as a self-propelled glide. We'll throw all this stuff out. Yeah. Cool. We're just going to damage max here. Good. Beating Spider-Man with tic-tac-toe is great. It's really good. And I think we can easily do it here. I just want to see what's the most damage we can do. So we want to play... I guess a green card. I guess a pink card we've already played. So maybe that's not the best. So we'll do Death Focus and Finesse for Contaminate Immunity. So now we played a green card. We recover 3 and get a toughness. This says after status card is placed on the enemy leader. So obviously that's not us, but just double checking. Bob will attack for 1. Thanks, Bob. Here we need a physical, but we have finesse, so it doesn't matter. So then we should just like self-propelled glide a bunch. So I guess we do cut upper for self-propelled glide. There might have been an angle that has a bit more damage. This feels a bit soft on damage. We'll ready ourselves. We have played no blue card. I don't think it's worth it. We'll attack for 3 into the villain. We technically defeat Spider-Woman. We'll then pitch a red into tic-tac-toe, healing ourselves. And then tic-tac-toe fires to do 4 damage to the villain. Cool. Oh, we could have self-propelled glide one more time, I think. I think we could have. Because we could have used finesse on that. Actually, maybe not. I think we're short 1 card. I mean, that was easy. We had an absurd start. We had an awkward mid-game, but we had an absurd start. So, yeah, that seemed fine. Like, she didn't do anything. She just did a couple treacheries that say stutter confusing. Like, hold on, I dropped a little yellow piece. Cool. Metagame cards are fun. Deadpool cards are fun. I do think, again, I did play a testing game yesterday where we drew Crisis of Infinite Deadpools on turn 1. It was still fine. You just basically, every time you activate with, the first time you activate at least with Captain Marvel, you just hit the thing on the table. Because this spawns permanently. Oh, I disconnected my keyboard. The Wi-Fi, or the Bluetooth doesn't work consistently. Oh, my keyboard doesn't work at all. Hello, keyboard? It's one of those like USB micro, which have never worked great in my experience. Okay. Yeah, if you get this guy, you just have to keep defeating him over and over again. Which is fine, I guess. Well, that's that. If you want to play this deck list, it is in the description. I think it's a nice exploration of the metagame cards. Finesse works really well. It also allows you to keep Captain Marvel around really well with leadership cards, which is good. I do think you could tinker. From what we've seen so far today, I think Nick Fury probably shouldn't be in the deck. And if you want to cut Nick Fury and then cut another basic card, you can play another pink card and another blue card. That is the one thing you have to watch out when it comes to deck building. Oh, the keyboard disconnected again. Is that you have to have an equal amount of the 2 aspects you pick, including the pheromones, which counts towards the leadership cards. So if you want to add 1 leadership card, you have to also add a pool card. I think adding a card that attaches to the Voltron of Captain Marvel makes a lot of sense. I think Power Gloves is like really, really fun. Is that what they're called? Yeah, Power Gloves. Power Gloves is like a really cool card. And it gives you a lot of control over the damage and dealing with toughness. And it just makes more fun to do Captain Marvel. And if that's the case, you just have to cut like, you could cut Beast for Power Gloves. That actually works. I think we have enough allies, it seems. And then you could cut Nick Fury and then you have to cut something else. So like Nick Fury and a double. Because there's not that many basic cards in the deck. It's just the resources. But I like the doubles. The more I play against the Civil War villains, the more I'm finding them too easy in solo. I think they're more fun in multiplayer because more cards come from the counter deck. Yes, it gives your opponent more ways to interact with you and pick the worst cards for you. But I'll be honest, like I can show you my stats. I haven't lost once to these Civil War heroes on Expert. Like I have a 100% win rate against this box. I don't know what to do about it. I think the encounter sets, they just don't have enough synergy. Like everything is just generalist. It's like this thing does confuse and has 4 health. This thing does stun and has 4 health. So there's not a lot of like sharp angles where things interact in an awkward way, which I think is one of the good things about, you know, more holistic scenario design is that you get caught and pinned, right? Like when you're playing against Green Goblin, oh no, there's too many minions. And then the cards care about minions. Like that sort of stuff just does not happen. Yeah, Leadership Ant-Man. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Leadership Ant-Man's probably even just a better, maybe instead of Maria Hill, you could play Leadership Ant-Man. I don't know if it's 100% necessary because we have more leadership cards than anything else. And a lot of our leadership cards are super cheap. So like there's a lot of turns where you can play side by sides. Maybe a third side by side makes sense. I think there's one other card that cares about sidekicks. I don't remember what it is. I feel like there's a third sidekick card. I think it was a package of 3. Never really vibed with Spider-Woman, but I might try this one out. Cheddar, if you enjoy it, let me know. And if you have any changes you want to make to it, do let me know for sure. But it's very smooth to play and you just draw a lot of cards, which is one of the best things you can do in any card game. It feels the best. I think that's mostly it. We've been streaming for just over 3 hours. That's kind of our goal on Sundays. I would honestly love to stream longer. Tomorrow we're back at work. We've been off holiday for 4 days so far, if you include the weekend. So it's going to be definitely going to be a change. What's next on this channel? I don't have anything recorded. I thought I'd be able to record some gameplay yesterday or on Friday. Didn't have time to do that. Maybe this week it'll be a bit slower because we're back to work and it's, you know, a big shift in energy. So we'll see how that lines up. If there's nothing on the channel, we'll be back, of course, on Sunday, probably in the morning, maybe in the evening. I do think there's some Netrunner tournaments sneaking up over the weekend that might take some of my time. But that's mostly it. On this channel, we did a stream last week. If you want to watch some Rocket Raccoon, we have a whole week worth of Tigra gameplay, both aggression and some justice. That deck is really fun. I will hopefully be playing today some more PvP with my lovely partner, Maddie. I'll let you know how that goes. We're going to be exploring Iron Man and Captain America. So that's going to be fun. Back to work. Yeah, you know how it is. I think Captain America and Captain Marvel are the toughest, but yeah, not the most challenging box overall. I don't really mind. So the thing about Captain Marvel that I don't know if everyone's playing this way. So check this out, right? So Captain Marvel says, after Captain Marvel attacks and defeats a character, place an energy channel. Okay, that doesn't matter. What do we want? We want energy channel. So energy channel says, after a leader, hero, or ally attacks Captain Marvel, place one energy counter here. Then if there are at least 4 energy counters, remove all then, and then she attacks. So I think there's 2 things that might actually have a big impact on how scary you think Captain Marvel is, and it's all about understanding how this card works. Firstly, this card only attacks back when it hits 4 when you attack her. I have no doubt that there's some percentage of people that are just attacking whenever this hits 4, and that's a lot scarier because there's a whole bunch of encounter cards, let alone the side scheme, that just puts counters on this. But technically, counters only matter on this for like 1 or 2 encounter cards that heal based off of the toughness, but it has no impact on how hard she hits, and it only counts when she gets the 4th or higher counter when you attack her, and you're fully in control of that. There is no way that she attacks you without you being in control. Secondly, this is a forced response after a leader or hero attacks. That happens before your ally takes consequential damage. So if you have an ally that takes 2 consequential damage, you don't take that damage. She attacks back first with energy channel, and that overkill damage is already mitigated by the consequential damage that minion was about to take, right? So for instance, say that we have, well, I don't have a good example here because everybody takes 1, but say that we attack with Nick Fury at full health. Nick Fury doesn't take the consequential until this fires. So Nick Fury blocks 3 of the overkill damage, which means she usually does not hit you. Now, obviously that's different when you're attacking with your face because then it's like straight damage. But at the end of the day, like attacking with allies is still really good because you always block the 1 damage. So it's like a smaller attack. She only has like 2 attack stat. Like, I don't know. I don't get this one, but I think it's really easy to play energy channel incorrectly and then she becomes a lot stronger. But the way that it's written, it's like way less terrifying than I thought it would be. I think Captain America is the one that's the trickiest though, for sure, because you have to like manage his stuff and play keep away. I find that allies with toughness are super good because all that triggers before consequential. That too, yeah. That's a nice way to use toughness on an ally because that triggers before consequential, so the toughness comes off and then they just take 1 consequential. Allies with toughness sometimes are a bit awkward to get the tempo play, but that's a really nice interaction too. Yeah, all this stuff happens before consequential, and that's really important. And do just watch out when she defeats a thing, she gets a counter back because she defeated. I'm pointing where she should be, but she's not there. Love the mod sets in Civil War. Heroes are both very good. Heroes have been cool. I think heroes are by far my favorite part of the box. Shout out to Tigra. Tigra is just kind of the coolest thing ever. Tigra is so good. That's it. If you enjoy content like this, if you want to take a second just to leave a like on the video, that really does help the channel grow. Leave a comment. It doesn't have to make sense. Just anything honestly helps. I think YouTube recommends stuff, which is super appreciated. At this point, we're about nearly at 1,000 subscribers. I haven't thought of anything special to do at that point, but this channel has been around for less than a year. 1,000 subscribers is incredible. So thank you so much if you've been enjoying this content. If you want to hit subscribe, we should be getting there relatively soon. It actually does help a bit for the channel, as much as that's an artificial goal because it's a round number. It allows us to put, no, well, not put, but the ads that YouTube already puts on there. Once we hit 1,000, we're allowed to get a part of that ad revenue, which does help us reinvest into this channel, which is appreciated. So do hit me up with that subscribe if you can. I think that's mostly it. We'll be back next Sunday. Maybe we'll have a video out sooner than that. I doubt it. It's going to be a busy week, but we're definitely going to be making some more content in the future. Thanks for the videos. Love the content. Glad you like it. Thanks for just like leaving a nice comment. Like Cheddar, for real. It's super appreciated. A lot of effort goes to make content like this, and hearing that it lands well is like the nicest thing you can ask for. GG's. Hey, Metapher, have a good weekend, dude. You too. If anyone's back at work in the upcoming, enjoy your week back. Always enjoy your content. Thank you. Hey, Toy Wonder, thank you so much as well. It's very kind. With that, enjoy your week, and we'll be back in just 7 days. Take care, y'all. Thanks for hanging out.